Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I guess it's around actually afternoon time, right? Because I'm from EU. I don't know how
Yeah,
times go around in NA,
it's like
but we
6.
are here back. Yeah, we know we're back here in NA. It's Tenax Series 4. And, there's a familiar face in Zero. I was more around the back end of the screen the last time we've been here, man. And it's honestly glad to be sharing this spotlight now.
Yeah, it's great to see you and be casting with you today. And I mean, Bolt, it's an exciting series as well. It's the first day of Tenax Series 4. I feel like we've had 3 great series in the past, and I don't know. I'm excited to have this opportunity and to get into some really great games because I feel like GC in NA is just at this point it's just getting better and better. And I don't know.
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of these players have a lot to prove here, and getting off to a strong start in this week 1 matchup would, I mean, both teams won it today. So
Yeah, I know. In EMEA, at least, we're kind of losing all of our dynasties and everything is moving around. In NA, I feel like there's actually a lot more of bars being built in NA than it is in EMEA.
yeah,
And that's actually a very intriguing point here because, as you said, this is the start of the tournament for them, week 1. And I feel like it's just going to be a pace setter because there are some teams that, at least some of us have higher expectations for. I was supposed to be high on 10x GC, but they didn't start things off well. But about the two teams that we have here, we have Eternal Focus Jade and Nightshade X Hyperspeed. That'll be taking us towards the first BO3 here on stream. We already got the Veto, we got Sunset and Pearl out of the way. We got Haven and Ascent to be our 2 picks, and if we have to go to the decider, it will be that Icebox. Already, Haven, Ascent, they're pretty much quintessential Valorant maps.
yeah. And so this is Sunset in Fracture rotated out with those
Mhm.
last map pool changes, as well as the
RIP.
Tejo nerfs came in 2 days ago. So
Mhm.
I mean, potentially the most significant change to an agent ever. I mean, you can look at or like Chamber, Astra, Sky as well in that argument. But I mean, these teams have to completely change their approach to how they might have been playing the game literally just 5 days ago. So I'm really interested to see, okay, how are these teams going to pick up? Is it going to be a bit more puggy of a play style until they
Mhm.
get settled into compositions they feel comfortable, or where they're going to be? But like you said, Eternal Focus Jade picked Haven, and then NxH went to Ascent. So I feel like these
Mhm.
maps are 2 that are pretty like cut and dry as far as the meta comes before. Because I mean, we've been seeing a
Yeah.
lot of ISO Yoru, and then Ascent. I mean, that's just Ascent, man.
Yeah, I know yours untouched, which I feel like is actually going to be the bigger part of the meta, in this
Yeah.
level of play, and even in the highest levels of play. It's like yours basically been growing a lot more in adoption, and that's one of the main things. It's like, well, now you don't have the Tejo, so you don't have as much area denial, so the Euro can actually play freely, but you still get the other aspects of the team comp. You're talking about the ISO that is absolutely powerful in those situations. And we will just actually see the agent select and see how it goes from there. We're going to start off at Haven, and it will be a pretty intriguing one. I just want to see the comps because, as he said, there are comps that are old and new, but this is pretty much 2024 at hand. Neon on one side, Zero, and the other one just, good old 2020 Jet comp on Haven.
Yeah, and a lot of these GC teams, it'll be pure leaning on that neon. It's just a very comfortable agent. It also, I mean, still, even though you only have one slide, you only have one stun, the pace that it brings to break some of those timings that players are used to really can catch teams off guard and provide value. And then on the other side, it's just the Jet really potentially wanting to lean into that operator. I'm honestly surprised we don't see that ISO Yoru. I thought that would be maybe that main meta focus, but it will be start off this pistol round, the first pistol of the Tenax series, and it's Salt here, or not Salt, excuse me, it's NxH on the defense to start us off. The 4-player push down C long. There's 3 players here stacked. This is going to be an exciting one, Volt. I can't wait to see how this actually ends up going.
Yeah, especially with the neon comps, the pace can be electrifying at times, but it can even be too fast for the neon comp to be able to follow up. on the Neon's presence. We're going to see how it goes from here. It's a bit of a slower contact. A little bit more respect is given. As he said, Salt is on the angle. And that should be a spot. Information is known that it should be an execute on site, but they haven't stepped up the pace until now. But the crossfire is there from Vi, where the Jet can probably find an opportune timing with the fault line. They try to go in. It's a 2-for-1 trade. And at the end of the day, they still have not taken the site. They're trying to find the timing. Oh, it's perfect from Pure, but the shots perhaps not as well as they would have wanted it. And that leaves the round in a 1-on-4. It's all down to Fangs, but the problem is, Fangs can't do it on their own.
And a beautiful Flood retake from that side to, I mean, just instantly collapse onto that C site, and there was no one really from Eternal Focus Jade to really follow up and push through backside with Pure. So it kind of just got isolated. 4 players there to collapse, and that's the pistol round gained for NxH here on that defense side too. So with this Neon comp, they'll be looking to try to get as many rounds on this attack side as possible. I mean, we were talking about the pace that it brings. You don't necessarily have the ability to play as freely with that operator, but speaking of pace of play,
well, they sped it up a lot. I do agree, but they haven't found many kills. Just the one now, thanks to Zero, but instantly that is going to be shut down. You know, it's exactly what you would expect when you think that the entire buy for the side of Eternal Focus in this round was just a single Sheriff. So, pretty much doomed to fail. And it will be that, and the good news for the side of NxH is the fact that they actually only lose a single player.
They only lose a single player, and they have money to buy up Vi with the Outlaw, Salt, with that Marshall. Only 2 players, though, will be on that half armor Zero, making sure they buy that. Oh, actually, the region with... I'm not sure if they didn't hear the Outlaw or what, but we'll have to make note of that, as for the first time, rifles in hands, going over towards this A site. Very traditional look, the smoke to just deny line of sight down long here, but this drone will clear this out and spot out this information that Neon spotted.
Tag.
I mean, that's where that site normally goes to, and that's a cheeky updraft.
Absolutely, and I feel like if there was a tag there, that would have been a kill. Still, the Outlaw almost done the job. Why though? Stuck between a rock and a hard place, and Neon is going to be able to find a swing. That's first blood, a double from Pure. And that is going to be a site probably open for business for the rest of the team. But as I say that, Karikana is actually able to find a pick on C. That's where the spike is, and that's where Fangs is stationed as well. So they've played the bait and switch masterfully. Perhaps to the point that even though I didn't expect them to go that far, it was a risky duel there, Zero. Because if they lost the spike, that might have been the entire round over. But since it worked out well, they find themselves in a 1v4. Sure, Pudding is going to be able to probably save the gun. But even then, you know, it's still exactly the kind of win you want. Minimal casualties, and you play the macro a lot better than the enemy team.
I would like to see them honestly go for just some economic damage, but Fangs will go hunting here, try to get this rifle out of Pudding's hand. Like you said, a pretty great response, keeping 4 rifles so far online. It'll just be some armor rebuys, and with that, a strong start here. 1 away from Pure's ult as well. That overdrive. Something... Well, it did get touched whenever Neon got nerfed. It's still just so powerful. But I'm going to be looking at Vi, picking up that operator already. So leaning into it, round number 4 will go to post down short.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
It all depends on how Eternal Focus Jade actually decide to play around this, and if they even expect it, they should be able to notice that it can be brought in.
Well, they're just trying to outrun it, and for the most part, they've been successful. The reveal, not good enough. now they've been spotted, and Vi, they've had to fall back. Nam in the angle, they're trying to anticipate the play. The timing is going to be everything. Nam escapes successfully, but they need to be careful because there's a push on the smoke that is fading shortly. Luckily enough, there's a drone, there's a push. so everything is gonna slow down momentarily, but they are still hell-bent on executing. KT finds the opener. The rest of the team are trying to follow in. The fast lane to isolate left and right. There's a player on either side. Now spots the Neon, and the timing couldn't have been any better for the one, but not for the second. No multi-kills in this round. Instead, it's gonna be a 2-on-3 on the retake.
This is going to be a hard one to get back into. One cage, the cam finally coming back online, but the silver lining is that Salt still has this paranoia.
Traveling.
Potentially try to get something, but it's burnt so early.
Oh, it's a good jump there from Unsane. That's a great opener to find on the retake. Down to a 2-on-2, almost slammed up actually for Salt there. Little overdose. Trying to find something, or perhaps a little more than they would have bargained for. And it's going to be a third round converted. It's heavy casualties for both teams. But for the side of Nightshade, they feel great because not only have they stopped the guns, they've also made sure it was just a bump in the road there in the bonus round.
Yeah, not picking up the operator, though. Interestingly enough, but like you said, I mean, a beautiful smoke from Salt to isolate the site and convert that 2v3 retake. Something that, I mean, here on Haven, it is an attack-sided map more often than not.
This
so
goes here.
Especially when you don't have that double sentinel or don't have that Teho util to clear out, it can be a bit harder. But over towards B main, it's a early look to try to potentially just get a little bit of information out, but already the rotates are coming through. There's 3 players here.
Yeah, and everybody from their side still got rifles pure. Got the overdrive to activate when the time is right, but Katikana will actually cancel that DP. It's good info from the shadows.
Yeah, but it seems like it feels just a little bit disconnected there, investing the ultimate whenever you were getting delayed for the rest of their team. So a pause brought into this one. The tripwire was broken towards front B, so just biding their time, seeing if they can bait any rotations out here. Is looks like they might gear up for this C-split, but with this tripwire still in garage, the camera for C-long, the information is there for the defenders.
Yeah, it's 5 already for Salt in the game. Trying to look for more. That's the one, a little bit labored, but they still found the kill. Oh, the game sense there. Almost on the mark. It's a really close shave. Katie trying to find their way towards C. It's gonna be a timing game between the two Omens who are trying to make the play happen. The fault line will dissuade them from pushing any further, but it seems like it's going to be a pretty fast retake with the drone taking the information. The fault line ready. It's going to be 3 players stunned up if they use it at the right time, but Unsane. Oh, peeking at the wrong time. Zero's already there, and there's a crossfire established. It's going to be the 2-man job there between Fangs and Unsane. Find both kills. Salt only good for the one, leaving Vi and Nam. The final 2 on the retake that is already posted up for C-long. There's an insurance policy in garage, and the crossfire is still hard to handle. A triple kill from Zero, and 2 rounds for Eternal Focus.
A beautiful job repositioning down long there, knowing Salt had fallen, so there was no smoke to go on that spike. The one-way goes up, and the rounds goes down. And so now, NxH, after winning the pistol, getting round number 4, they'll be forced down to a low buy. Unsane can buy up that Guardian, but other than that, it's just pistols across the board, really. A 4-player stack over towards C, but as we can see, it's just EFJ going all the way over towards A, and it's just 1 measly kill trip on the A site to receive this hit.
As he said, single tripwire and Unsane. At least they got the Bulldog, so the best weapon with his job, at least in comparison to everyone else in the team. You know where they're coming from, but the tripwire has not been triggered yet. And there it is, now it came in. A great shot from Vi on the back of it, so they're able to open things up. And perhaps there's a world where you pop the Blade Storm, try to make a play, but it has not come to fruition yet. A second kill will definitely guarantee an investment on the retake, but for now, pace is slowing down significantly as they try to work their way in. The investment is there. It is a bit of a gambit, but it almost came down to the wrong timing because Vi missed the right click and the left click. Katie will find a pair, but at least the defense is still trying to force their way in. They find a kill on Zero, another one from Salt. That's massive because he got the pincer from short, and Pure finding a kill. Both players in backside. An adjustment not good enough from Salt, but it will still force the ultimate and the matter. They're trying to find a timing. They swing wide, but Pure is good for the shot, and the game is tied up.
And it is looking clean so far. It was an eco, sure, but I mean, a decent amount invested there. I mean, the knives being popped, but it's a tied game and a timeout called from NxH Hyperspeed. So with this buy round coming in, they really want to make sure they can convert this one, because Volt, if they lose this, their eco isn't going to be there. Their ultimates are coming online soon, so the ult cycle wouldn't be in line necessarily with their just credit economy. So really wanting to get this one on the board. And I feel like they just haven't had an answer for just the aggression that Pure brings with this Neon pick. I mean, ever since the pistol round, right, these retakes have just not really been working out all that great.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the thing, though, with those Neon comps is that holding the sites themselves are usually a little bit more difficult in comparison to retaking, because the utility is kind of limited. It's a single relay bolt, it's a single paranoia, it's 2 flashes from the overdose. So when I think about that, I just think about drawing out the util economy from the attacking side is very important, which is going to probably be the main factor when you're trying to play around like this, which is why I like seeing more aggressive smokes when you're on the side of NxH here.
Yeah,
I just want to see advanced smokes. I like the push from Vi when they've had the operator, because that forces more util out of a pretty starved attacking side. But for now, they've been pretty much given kills on each and every side. We have not seen an entire, oh, we're going to play for the full retake, we're going to pull all of our numbers. Instead, every time we see an attempt from that side. That was an attempt at a reveal, but I think that has gone horribly wrong.
And notably, the deep smoke down C long puts a lot of pressure onto these players, so they wasted those 20 seconds. They have to go and clear this out now. So the default smoke will be seen over, but
right here.
Eternal Focus Jade not really wanting to commit just quite yet into one of these sites, but with this drone coming through, this will probably keep all 3 players from NxH over here. Just jiggling this. It's just
I like
a stalemate so far.
Like, if you look at both Pudding and Salt, both of them are ready with their util. They were anticipating a hit on Garage, so it is such a good read from the side of Eternal Focus to pull back, because if they went in there, that would have been a death sentence.
And they're rotating over towards the A side, and that's exactly where it's, I mean, you have one tripwire over towards Graffiti, but other than that, it's a full retake setup. And there's the Breach ult and the Neon ult. So the Rolling Thunder is invested for the site hit, doesn't connect onto anyone, but still a lot of tools here.
Our spike's down.
Oh, great shot from Nam. That's exactly what they needed. 5 more seconds. They're trying to deny the plant. They're using all the util that they have, but the spike will still go down for his price. Pudding is going to find a kill on Pure, but there's multiple kills found on the attacking side as well. Left down to Pudding and Nam. The latter finding the kill, and the former to finish off the retake. That was a little bit messy, Zero. I'm going to call it out. But the idea is good, which is the most important thing for me.
Oh my god. I'm just looking at Pudding jump through the cyber cage with the judge. I mean, just silly work, but a beautiful Hunter's Fury coming through from Nam on that retake, and Vi just being so opportunistic, even though they got hit by that tripwire, just drawing those crosshairs, allowing for the retake to come through, as well as the Odin. Doing great job. So NxH finding a response on that retake. We'll be able to muster together some sort of buy here. 2 Bulldogs for Salt and Unsane, but they'll be okay with that. And the same setup, but this time it's an aggressive smoke over towards long, but there wasn't any actually util behind that smoke, so it's just an instant lurk from Fangs to push all the way up and eat this space towards long. That reveal not going to scan them either.
Oh, they got the right read. The problem is, it's still a 2-player setup there. We've talked about that trap setup before. He's able to find the first kill, and Pure is found out, but fortunately enough, he got his speed boost from the sprint, so
Look
they're
at
able to
this
walk away. It's still an opener,
work.
though.
They have no idea about... Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, an aggressive peek and it pays off. The flash play.
Oh.
Look at this for Vi.
Oh, the 2 kills. We were talking about this. We're setting this up the whole round. It came into fruition. It sprung into action. And it opened up a lane for the members of Eternal Fire to work their way back into that A site. Fangs started there. That's where they're at. And it's a big question.
Yeah,
for
they
the
have to clear
members
out
of
all of
NxH.
this space. They lost all of this, so they have to be so weary, especially about this heaven position where Zero is posted up. But the Hunter's Fury is still in the back pocket. And look at this! Fang's going on another lurk after they got 2 kills.
This could be over ambitious, though. That's the real problem. Sure, they found the first kill. It's about biding time for the Slifer because they've lost Zero. So a lot is actually onto Katie Kana there to try to buy the time. The Omen almost found the kills, and the timing there again. Fang started with a double. They will end it with another, and it will be a 4K clutch for the Slifer.
Fangs is just ridiculous. What a giant play. Just single-handedly winning the round with 2 separate lurks, mind you. Having the goals to just push down long and find the timing into A-Link, get those 2 frags, and then as soon as that spike goes down, just instantly booking it back through to re-wrap the other way. Not expected at all. Picking up the 4 kills in the 4th round to tie the game. And not only that, but NxH, look at the money. It's just shattered.
Yeah, a shade of an economy indeed in this kind of round. Only got sheriffs, not a lot of util, but at least Salt is safe. There's an attempt at a quick flood though, which might pose the problem because we talked about util economy. The ultimate comes in, they do find a stun player, but they can't find the kills. They go in for the swing, they line up, but Vi couldn't find the shots to the head. Precision a little bit lacking there, but they were still able to find a kill and put the spike down, but that will be recovered by Katie. Perhaps a rotation attempt, and that shot from Pure is probably going to open up a whole lot of space for the rest of the team.
So that's 2 ultimates now invested when it was just sheriffs, no armor across the board, putting... But Nam, you're beating the rotates. But the cage, just too much to deal with, so it'll have to be a team effort. Spike will go down here. And it looks like Eternal Focus Jade are going to get the lead in this series for the first time so far on their map pick.
Well, putting Fate on the flank, that duel probably would decide a lot. Do they have the awareness of the position on the Cypher? They spot the slide, but perhaps they're not just quick enough. So Fang's able to find the kill. They still got the camera on the other side. They're working their way up into long. And it's a complete lockdown for Nam and Unsane. They only have the sheriffs, so they will still give it a go anyway. And it will come down to a couple good shots perhaps to cause economy damage, but even that will not be inflicted. It's a single kill. They made it look a little bit dangerous. They forced a couple of ultimates, sure. But their own Rolling Thunder, though, did not work out for Eternal Focus.
Yeah, and the Neural Theft. I mean, that is a hefty investment. If you're the coach, you're not very happy with that one. And so they'll have a full buy back into this Nam with that Odin. The operator now for Vi being brought out again. But it's once again going to be posted over towards A. And it really wasn't able to get any value. They spotted it out. They were meticulous about watching it with this recon. So how do they deal with it this time?
Oh. Pure steals it. Should have been a kill there for Vi, but perhaps did not actually anticipate the push from the members of Eternal Focus. Instead, Eternal Focus keeping on the pressure and the pace. Pure basically captured the entire A side single-handedly there with that entry, and they're forced on a retake where they'll have to wait for long rotations because look at where both Salt and Unsane are.
My camera is destroyed.
I think you might even be looking to save this potentially. I don't know how you get back into this. They have Paranoia, Overdrive still, the Hunter's Fury online, all for Eternal Focus Jade, and yeah, it's just the save call. They can't even make an attempt at this, or else they'd be going down, what, 7 rounds potentially? They need all they can get here on this defense side before they swap halves. And Eternal Focus Jade, it has been a grind to get back into this one, but it has been looking damn good ever since that timeout call.
Yeah, and honestly, the adjustment has been great from the entirety of the team. Whether it is them stepping up the pace a little bit more to try to overwhelm the Jet, or it is actually Fangs mainly on the lurk plays. Both of them worked out pretty well. It's a good kill from Salt.
Unlucky,
You know,
bro.
that's
Unlucky.
a great adjustment, but in the grand scheme of things, it
It's not
actually
much.
still might cause some damage because you look at the economy. On the side of Eternal Focus, they're still susceptible to losing 2 rounds and crashing out, but luckily for them, those are going to be the final
Only 2 rounds
so
and a
they're
half?
set for an entire half.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And I will say, Eternal Focus Jade on that pistol round, they weren't really playing together and following Pure necessarily, but since then, they have been sticking next to their side so frequently. And so once again, a peek down short, but a dart to scan them out misses. But Fangs does not miss.
Yeah, and that was the duel to win. Nam coming into the smoke, they spot the Neon, they try to go for a re-swing, the Guardian is there for a double. Great work from Nam. And they perhaps will actually leave more space for the members of their team. Now Nightshade are considering whether or not to actually commit towards that A side. It is a full commitment, but the rotate is actually already on the C side itself.
So they re-clear with that from the shadows. Gets that
There's more
information
Zero?
that Zero is there. I believe they should have if they checked properly, but look at that. The camera spots out Fangs, and with that, it's just a complete bait. Salt's not aware at all. Now this A site is just practically given up for free. The lurk from Fangs is still active. Pudding feels like they have to make a move.
Yeah, and they're in the right position. They might have baited in the timing. They got the first go for free, but Yoden is still able to adjust. That's a good one from Zero. Leaving Unsane in 1-on-2. Not a single bit of utility though, so they will have to shoot their way out of this one. They did force the Hunter's Fury, but no duels, no peaks for now. There it is from Fangs. It's going to be 7-4, so EF guaranteed to win the half.
You even see Unsane checking CT there at the end. I mean, Fangs has just instilled the fear of God into this NxH team. I mean, with that single lurk, it has just been ridiculous. 13-5 so far. The attacking Cypher just putting up numbers. And so now coming into the last round of the half, Volt, 2 Guardians, a Judge, no armor. Nam has that Hunter's Fury online. So maybe something to look at potentially, but a fast play towards long.
Neon things, pure. Oh, that's dastardly. Oh, it's beautiful. And the entire round might be over. They're looking for the quad kill. Fangs is gonna find that kill, but that is an absolute massacre on the C site.
They tried going aggressive down C long. Eternal Focus Jade was just like, nah, we can just overwhelm Garage, kill 3 players with our 1 Neon ult. It's no big deal. And so now, Unsane once again left just in an impossible retake to try to get this back to an 8-4 half, but this one, it's already done and dusted.
Yeah, time took too far. Unsane, all alone, 1-on-4, stunned. It's a great first shot from Unsane. The problem for the Cypher is, there it is, Troublemaker, able to switch to the Shorty, and still not able to find the kill. It's gonna be a double for Unsane, so the KD is batted, but you know, credit where credit is due. They are called Eternal Fire Jade, and they definitely did know their greens well. The defenders will completely figure it out.
So swapping halves here, NxH will get to go towards that favored side of the attack. And notably, this is Eternal Focus Jade's map pick, so their home ground, what they've been cooking up, what they've been comfortable with, so not exactly sure how deep these map pools go, as this is the first week of the Tenax series, so this is a bit of the testing grounds. But the B site looks to be tested here as NxH groups up for this pistol, but it's just a C split to try to get anyone going for this defense side, but no one's home. It's just a full steam ahead towards this B site. Choo-choo.
They did set it. They did still a C split completely now. They've won themselves on the B site, but I love the extension that they've made. Not only have they taken the site itself, but they are playing for one of the 2 connectors, namely A-Link. And they're trying to find something there. The late lurk from Unsane. has the opportunity to find 3 players. It's just going to be about trigger discipline. They're waiting for the first. They're waiting for the second. It is beautiful from Unsane. Low HP on Katie. And it's going to be handled pretty well because Budding expands from the link. And they find all the kills that they need to just keep the players on lock from B main itself. They smoke them off. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Pure pretty much has nowhere to go. And it will be easy takings for the members of NxH here as they're trying to just finish off the round with style. It's a matter of time. Pure trying to go for a kill, but it will not be enough. Now will survive, and it will be a pistol traded back by NxH.
Clean pistol rounds from NxH. That's now 2 in their back pocket. So 2 for 2, 5 rounds on the board. We saw that they have these great pistol round ideas to come out early. This round's as well, just buying up, just pretty traditional stuff. Outlaw for Nam, Bulldogs for everyone else. I want to see them keep this clean though, and try to get a lot of these weapons brought over because it's just 0 with that Sheriff, Katie Kana with that light armor, and already Pudding just getting these ultimate orbs early, trying to build up to that Rolling Thunder, win that ultimate economy. I like to see teams min-maxing like this, especially early in the season.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely been some investment in the utility, at least trying to perhaps make a bait play. But util dump doesn't work out. They can't even hold the sides themselves. It's going to be Vi over pushing that angle. A good 1-for-1 trade for the side of Eternal Fire Jade, but for the rest of the shots, they really should have no way back into the side itself, especially when you're looking at the hold from the side of Nightshade. Well, NxH, they've got their numbers in the right place. They're basically holding them off from both angles. It's gonna be a complete CT flood, but they don't walk through the defender spawn yet. Now they do, with a flash. There's a counter flash ready, a great shot from Nam, a complete wipeout on the retake. Not a single member lost, and pretty much like the first half, it is a bit of a deja vu. 4 players alive in the bonus.
But this is where the real test occurs, isn't it? The rifles brought online for Eternal Focus Jade, and this is where they started to see that success really shut down NxH.
This goes here.
On the other sides, but now with NxH feeling like they can set the pace, they're not having to lean in and just bend the will to Pure's Neon. And very interestingly, it's just a Sheriff bought up. They had the money to invest into a rifle, but opting just for that full armor and Sheriff. So maybe an operator.
Is this a reverse Navi buy or something?
I have retrieved this.
Not one that I've
usually
seen
you see the
sure,
Navi buy in the anti-ecos, not in the actual buy round.
Yeah,
but, you consider the economy on the other end. This bonus is pretty devastating. You got an outlaw and 3 bulldogs rather. So it's gonna be a difficult round for them. Fangs holding the angle. It's a great first shot from Pure, so they definitely made the Sheriff worth it by looking for the angle. It's gonna be an opener for Fangs, but speed traded by Vi. The retake will probably come in pretty quickly because they got 3 out of the 4 ready at spawn. Try and find the angle. The fault line, good for both, but they will need to get into the site itself. Again, another flash, another piece of util, and they play around it to perfection. The bonus actually works out. It was pretty risky because when you consider the economy of NxH rather than NSH, well, they're not shade and hyperspeed. It's a mouthful. But anyways, it wasn't
really
actually a mouthful to chew through in that round for Eternal Focus. They played it pretty well, and the most impressive part about it for me is the retakes. Because if we contrast it to the first half, I feel like Eternal Focus are much quicker on the uptick when they start their retakes. They start them much sooner in comparison
and
to
the Neon
Nightshade.
allows you to do that. You can have the fast rotates, and then Neon, even if they don't rotate initially, they can be there pretty quickly, or you can send that Neon as that early rotator to try to stack those sites. But an aggressive fight over towards A lobby to try to contest this space, condition it early with this smoke as well. No fault line, so Nam will invest the drone to try to clear this out. Spots one, but surely you imagine that one's pushed up. I mean, you're not thinking the Sova is just sitting down long in the middle of it. So a little weary as this fault line comes through, and Vi really going exploring here.
Yeah, but I do actually like this from their slide. NxH, it makes a lot of sense for them to try to explore space because, as he said, they've lost control of lobby, and lobby is pretty expensive to get back, especially with the
but look at
timer.
this.
If you
They're going to
expand the
reclear this
fault
in the
line here,
paranoia.
you're not going to get it back. And as he said, they're trying to clear the angle, but they did not anticipate Pure, and it's going to be a double from zero anyway. The setup from Neon is perfect, and they're actually going to utilize the paranoia as well. Unsane trying to open up another avenue of the map, but much like the first few peaks, they check one corner, but they don't check the other. Time is of the essence. The spike is down in a terrible place, though, Zero.
I think you're just saving here,
30
honestly,
seconds
at this point. And if I'm Salt, I'm not happy with my team there. They have the paranoia out. They send it out because they know there's probably one close. And the team just doesn't check the corner. So now they're going for this spike, but
One enemy remaining.
there's 14 seconds left. The spam comes through, and it's just...
10
It's
seconds
useless.
left.
It's hopeless here. Salt just trying to keep this weapon alive. Potentially just a consolation prize. As this round just collapsed, but not even going to get to keep that one. An Eternal Focus Jade hit double digits in a pretty clean fashion.
Yeah, usually it goes rubbing the salt in the wound, but right now we're just rubbing salt in the back of the head. That is a little bit cruel there. To find that
But the
final kill especially.
The timeout already being called after round number 4 on this second half. And I mean, I completely get it. It's double digits. They're down on an eco. And there just has to have been a comms issue there, to be honest, when clearing long. And so horses taste okay. Don't know about that one, but I mean, just try to calm their team a little bit, make sure everyone's on that same page. Because this isn't a done game yet, Volt. There's still plenty of Valorant to play. The Rolling Thunder online for pudding. They just need to collect themselves and start getting a game plan together. Because so far, I mean, it's just, like you said, the pace that Eternal Focus Jade is putting on them and just the collectiveness in which they're playing is just not really been dealt with so far in an effective way, I would say.
Yeah, and well, in this bit of a lull state, we still got the freeze time anyways. So, guys, life space catches up to all of us. All of us are doom scrolling on TikTok, Reels, whatever it is that we are. So, if you still want to actually catch up to all the gaming news that you're usually going to, there's actually one place that is sponsoring our Tenax Series 4, and it is Cracked Media. Thanks to them for actually providing the support for us to be able to run such a tournament. They are the place where you keep up on your news. You just check their podcast, XP Share, where they pretty much are talking about anything gaming related. But speaking of gaming, we are back into the lifetime. No more grayscale, but some people might still go down towards that wallbang. Unfortunately, for the members of EFJ, they couldn't find the kill, but fortunately enough for the members of Nightshade, they're able to get into the site and,
Spike
planting
planted.
with those weaker weapons. That is such a big boon for them, but I doubt that they're actually going to be able to hold on for long because look at the utility. The utility difference is just massive. Salt died to the utility overload between the drone, the player in the lurk, and the aftershock. There was nowhere to go into that one.
And look at this post-plant setup. There's 3 players all in the same little area. They're so grouped.
Last
They're all
player
dead.
standing.
That's it. Goodbye.
Look at the
Good night.
assist, Volt.
Yeah.
Look at it, man. It is ridiculous. The fault line hit all 3 players as well as that dart, the paranoia coming through. Like you're saying, the utility is just so great for Eternal Focus Jade. It's just getting such consistent value, partially because of the positioning from NxH, but also just these EFJ players just knowing what to do. So the timeout was called. That was the eco round. Just try to make a fast play over towards Garage. Now here comes the adjustment. I was liking what I was seeing, right? Just play a little slower. Go reclear A in that mid rounds. As long as they're doing it together and are on the same page about when they're doing it, I think that might be the right approach. Because the amount of value that Pure has been getting here over towards A to allow their team to rotate effectively cannot be understated. But the C site, this hasn't worked out for them yet, but they are very determined to make it work.
Well, they got ultimates, which is definitely going to
That
be the
they do.
differentiator in a state like this, but they need to keep the members alive. Oh, Salt, that is beautiful. They anticipated the play from Katie. That's an omen on omen diff right there. Site is open. They take the site itself, but as we've said last round, it came down to a little overdose. And they got the full kit of Util. they also got the Rolling
Spike
Thunder.
planted.
They push Fangs back off Garage. And I love this from the players on the side of NxH because they need a safe haven. The side itself is not going to be safe. They're trying to beat the timing there by having Vi on the angle, but now Vi is spotted. They might just send the ult and run for it. I'm actually surprised that they've taken that long because there still is a tripwire on the angle. Now they finally bursted. They're probably holding the ultimate for the first stab. They clear the side itself, but the timer was digged halfway across. It's gonna come down to that first duel. They spot Salt, but the timing is everything. The Omen is going for the backstab. They're trying to find the kills. It's also messy at the end, but inside the
One
smoke,
enemy
Nam,
remaining.
Unsane, Vi will all find their kills, and the timer is too far gone. Eternal Focus Jade are finally stopped.
A bow and arrow is
It's
old
just
fashioned.
too much to
Sometimes
deal
old ways
with.
are best.
But, I mean, the damage on the other side, it's done for sure. 3 ults invested, 2 players going down there as well at the end. So, a good amount of damage done from Eternal Focus Jade, but yeah, a bit uncharacteristic, I would say, honestly, with that retake, not really wanting to go quite yet, invest that Rolling Thunder and send it in. So, an adjustment made, not paying off quite yet, but this C site once again looks to be up for the taking. NxH, they find success there once, so looking to try to repeat it, but like you had mentioned, the ultimates were really potentially the defining factor as to what was allowing the success there, but Pure with the operator taking down Salt, and now you have no smokes to try to take this site.
Yeah, not just no smokes there. The fact that it's actually now 4 ultimates still from the side of EFJ. That's actually worrying me quite a bit for the other team. Thankfully, though, for NxH, they're able to find the
have
kill.
no
Katie
idea
with the
about
one,
Fangs.
but there is the retake. Fangs with a double. They're ready for more, but Vi finds the kill before the swing. It's
Bop.
the quad from the Jet. Oh, the shutdown from Zero just at the right time. That might have
Oh
been
my
Vi's time to
God.
shine, but unfortunately for her, Zero is right there, and that's what they've done. The Hunter has found their mark.
I think Vi might have needed walls to try to get that kill onto Zero, but Jesus, what an attempt.
Match point.
I don't even know how they got those last 2 kills. I need a replay on that one. But with that,
That was mean, yeah.
Eternal Focus Jade, they get to map point here on Haven. And we see why they picked this one, just so confident here on this map, and Pure looking like Neon never got touched. And so finally we're seeing an early default to try to contest this long play, but the operator swapping its post towards C long. So, oh, that is not
Yikes.
what was meant to happen. That is your
Yeah.
knives gone and the rifle tossed over.
I mean, you're always gonna throw away the rifle to Vi after that
Yeah.
round. I'm gonna be
But-
completely honest with you here.
Yeah, it makes sense. It just unfortunate mess up. But with this, look, Rolling Thunder and Hunter's Fury online, 4 players here to flood back in.
Oh, they canceled the plan. Still going for the commitment. Rolling Thunder came in, but it actually didn't really do that much because they bought their timing and they're still playing for the time. It's going to be 3 players at the spawn door trying to overwhelm the numbers with the firepower, with the utility. It's allowing them to get back in the fight itself, but they need to be wary of the crossfire. It is broken down now by Fangs and Overdose. Unsane and Pudding will still have a say back in this round. It ends up in a 1-on-2. It's all onto Unsane. For their lives in this map, they find the first and the
my
second.
God.
This time, it will be a clutch for NxH.
These ciphers are just putting up insane work. And so Unsane finally coming through with that clutch and giving their team a little bit of life, a little bit of breathing room here on Haven. But there's still 4 chances for Eternal Focus Jade to close this one out.
Ready.
And it'll be a scattered by, I will say. And Odin picked up for Nam. Some Guardians for the other side, but Sheriffs across the board and not wanting anything to do with that aggressive smoke. So they'll make their way over towards C, but Pure taking this deep line. How ready are the attackers?
Oh, they're checked. They still find the kill. Pure got the fast lane. They got the way back out of that one. They're trying to run away, and they will be able to stay alive safely there. Dink at the very end. Pure is still alive, and that's numbers advantage in the hands of EFJ.
So a little bit of caution, and Zero getting this deep line towards A as well, but if any of these players decide to just contact, there'll potentially be a timing to work through long, but as we see, nothing really of the sorts happening, just holding for any aggression, Pure on this pixel angle. Oh no.
Oh, they're still spotted. They are alive.
Makes it out somehow on
30
12
seconds
HP.
left.
But 30 seconds left. The announcer says it all. And the decision will be made to go over towards A, but there's only 2 players here committing to this. 1 player towards B, 1 towards C. This might be it. Well, this might
Do they
be
even clear Zero?
play.
That's a good question. They clear him, but they don't go
10
deep
seconds
enough.
left.
Zero's still going to be able to
Spike
find a
down.
kill. Now down to 3-on-4. They still are holding in crossfire. The Sheriffs are good enough. There is very little time remaining. The round is over, and that will be it. They win it out by
Defenders
time.
win.
They suffocate into that, and Eternal Focus Jade will be winning their map pick.
Eternal Focus Jade ending up, like you said, taking their map pick 13-8. A little all over the place there towards the end of the last round. But I mean, I feel like Eternal Focus Jade just did so well. Pure, especially here, picking up that Neon roll, even though it's nerfed, you don't have that tail necessarily to make the power of the Neon come to the full force, but it doesn't even matter. Just the relentless aggression and just willingness to put themselves on the line as well. Not only getting a lot of those first bloods, I felt, but really just sending it in, allowing for their team to come follow up behind. And then you can't forget. NxH picking that. So we'll have to see how they decide to approach that. Before that, we will be throwing it to a short little break. Make sure not to go anywhere because you're not going to want to miss map number 2 of Ascent.
Hello.
A little
Oh, zero. Apparently it happened again. Welcome back, guys. And well, I guess this is how it feels like to actually live in the alternate reality. But well, we're back. You know what we're talking about actually means zero? There is a sense of confidence that I didn't like from the side of Nightshade X Hyper. But there's a difference between not feeling the urgency and not realizing the urgency, which I feel like happened there at the final round at the Haven. And there will be urgency on them to actually win this ascent and convert us into the icebox.
yeah. So going into the second map here, it was Eternal Focus Jade winning map number 1, 13-8. Their map pick of Haven. So now we'll be headed into Nightshade X Hyperspeed's map pick of Ascent. Something hopefully a little bit more comfortable for them because, like we were talking about, right? There was a little bit of hesitancy, and I feel like a breakdown in the communication in the IGLing at multiple points on that attack side for NxH. I don't know if it's a lack of experience. The team hasn't been together for super long, but I think multiple points where, I mean, for one example, round number I think 16 when Salt goes to re-clear main, throws out that paranoia. They're aware that Neon is pushed up, Pure's in that little wheelbarrow position, and Noam checks him. And then the last rounds, they just lose to time. There's two players walking down short contacting. So I think coming into a sit here, even though it's their map pick, I still have a little bit of worry on that front, but I think the game plan itself is going to be a lot stronger as far as, okay, if this team is picking this map, they at least have an idea of what they want to do, and I'm looking for that to carry through and find some success for this NxH team, because we know how good these players can be individually. We just need to see them play together as a team, as a unit.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Just for me, whenever I consider that part, I'm always thinking, Ascent actually lends itself a lot more to the slower play style, which is what I feel like we've seen to be successful. So how about actually see how they're going to try to access that game plan? Agent Select is ready, and we pretty much should be getting the agent selection, which I think the comp I just don't want to see the Tejo meta comps. That's all I'm asking for. I don't want to see
if we see
10 rounds on
Tejo
defense
after he got nerfed. I don't know what they're cooking. I don't know what they're cooking. Yeah. Okay, so no Tejo. Both of these teams going back to the Sova KO, pretty standard stuff. But for NxH, it's actually so the Yoru and the Vi's a little bit more of the newer agents, newer looks and approaches. But Jet, KJ, the classic still works wonders as well. I think Killjoy still, with Tejo being out of the meta now, maybe gets a bit more value than the Vi's, but we'll have to see, especially with them starting off on that defense side. It'll have, maybe you don't have those necessarily the Killjoy or anything with the nanos, but you still have those vines, right? The wall to give you the passive information towards mid instead of the alarm bot, as well as that arc rose to give you information in the mid round or set something up like a deep operator line. And then with that Yoru, I mean, it's just Yoru, the best duelist in the game. So, why not play him?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the funnier things, actually, because, when I think about it, there's definitely a real contrast between the Neon and the Yoru in that sense. It took a long while for teams to pick up and adopt those agents at a bigger scale, perhaps a little bit more so for Neon. But the Yoru, I'm just going to say this. For me, as an EMEA watcher and EMEA enjoyer, a Martine fan. I'm just going to say this. I'm a fan of Martine. I've seen Martine ever since 2023 when I was starting to actually cast Valorant, and seeing the agent that they've basically tried to pioneer now be the meta. That's a lot of fun. And it actually feels like really fulfilling because you see the potential with those people that are able to master the agent, the tricks you can do with the flashes, the mind games, all of that, and then seeing it being globally adopted, and especially in this current meta. Because I feel like that's
Yeah.
going to be one very important thing. When I look at this Yoru, I pretty much would have seen a way of, oh, if it's a Vice, you can always go against the Sheath. You can always break the wall. But there's no Vice on the other end, you know? We're pretty much back to the basic comps. And
Yeah.
that is actually one of the things that might actually lower the viability of the Yoru. Because I feel like it gains a lot more value when you're playing against agents like the Cypher, like the Vice, but Killjoy isn't
Where you
really
can
as
send that-
effective as compared to the other Sentinels.
Yeah, you can send that clone in, try to bait out that util and pop it. But you still have on this defense side, right, the quick rotates with that teleport. And I think, like you were mentioning, really just comes down to how mastered are these players on Yoru. I mean, debatably the most technical and high skill ceiling agent in the entire game.
Shadows traveling.
But to start off on this defense side, Salt, pretty standard setup here. So the knife to clear out with that one way. This is just a 3-player walk towards middle to try to set up for an ace split.
Oh, the start is great from Jade. Right there, the fragment on the money from Pudding. They still got the flashes as well. So there's a world where they try to push through it, but the timing caught Salt off guard. Still, excellent recovery from Salt. 2 kills for 1, which does keep the game at a 3-on-3. The deficit is no more, but HP bars is going to start to become a problem, especially with the fast retake.
Yeah, look at HP of Overdose. Spike goes down now. The positioning from Fangs might be all the difference here.
Well, they're double stacking on short. He spoke about Fangs. They come in the right time, spring it into action. That's a kill and 50 damage. Pretty low health there on Overdose, but still able to find the kill. And the Killjoy is going to be able to put down the sentry, alerting them of their presence, playing off the swing. Thank you, little guy. Fangs in with a 3k for the pistol.
Good.
And Timmy, I mean, just allowing Fangs to just swing there as Pudding's trying to shoot the turret down. What a great retake, or not retake, excuse me, post plant from Fangs to, I mean, get that first blood onto Vi, and then after that, just playing the time, making sure they can sit over towards Catwalk and just come in and clutch it up. So the first pistol round for Eternal Focus Jade going their way now 1-3. We'll have a little bit of a quick tech pause. I think there's some issues with connection, so hopefully we can get the coach
Sorry,
back
guys,
in
it's
here.
my fault. I'm caught. It's my fault. I brought the EMA.
Did you put horse taste okay up to this?
I did it. It's my curse, you know. I decided to flirt with the devil, and that's never a good idea. Never, ever, ever instigate tech pauses because they always end up running up in your face. But well, you know, we had to have some time. We can definitely talk about everything that's going on, and for now, I feel like, you know, everything is working out pretty well. You know, like Fang started off pretty hot, Pudding having a good game, and I feel like if we continue to play to that sense, it's still going to be the, like, you know, controllers, initiators, sentinels, they will definitely matter a whole lot more than the duelists, as I've said, like, in the first map about this ascent. That
with Fangs having such success on the lurks over towards Haven, I'm looking for them to continue that success right in the pistol round, getting 3 kills already. So trying to bring some of that momentum over currently. But if you can activate on this attack side, where it can be really hard to get rounds consistently, especially once those defensive ultimates start to come up, the likes of the Yoru ult, that Vice Steel Garden, can be difficult to get through. So if Fangs can have a lot of success, get these picks on the other side of the maps, Eternal Focus Jade might just run away with this series. But for now, they decide to run towards B into the face of 3 players.
Yeah, 3 players, sure, but they're only sheriffs, so they're not the most threatening thing in the world. They can still definitely do some damage, but I'll personally doubt that. The classic right click comes in. Nam almost finding a kill. Will actually do find that, and it will be a 1-for-1 trade, surely. Oh, out of bullets, Unsane, and that will still be a kill from Unsane. They bought enough time for the players to come into market. It's gonna be a double
enemy
up from
remaining.
Salt onto
Spike
spawn, but
planted.
it's caught right in time to defy in a 1-on-3. Trying to be patient for the first kill, but there are only 2 more bullets in that Sheriff. Now we'll have to go for the reload, which might prompt more aggression from the members of Eternal Focus, who are still trying to hold it down. The Jade, pretty strong and resilient, but Vi trying to be the difference maker. Player by default, trying to establish a crossfire, and double peek comes in. Perfect play, but they've hit the magic number of 3 deaths though.
Yeah, and all the players bought up there, so honestly a good amount of damage done from NxH. Getting all those down. So, but still we'll be able to have a decent purchase into this Pure with that Vandal Fangs, with that Guardian. On the other side, rifles across the board, and here's where we'll really start to see what Nightshade X Hyperspeed's defensive game plan really looks like. It's this wall over towards A and a fast tiles crunch, but just barely making it out with their life.
Yikes.
I mean, well, somebody's gonna lose their lives anyway. It's not gonna be Salt though, it's gonna be Nam in that one. Vi with a good trade. So they're able to find a kill. Another one from the Yoru, looking for the third, and again, a duelist coming up big. Last time around, we've seen Vi with a multi-kill. They were not enough in fading away the round, but now they've completely opened up the game, especially with the final 2 players working their way into the A side. It was a weaker bonus because they had 3 Sheriffs, but they definitely make it look good.
And an aggressive start, not necessarily what we always see on this defensive side of Ascent, really just typically playing pretty passively, so throwing a wrench in Eternal Focus's game plan, even though they lost that first blood, still able to restabilize. And so that was just a one and done setup. Now going back to what we'll be seeing pretty frequently, this 2 players over towards A with the one-way, the knife to try to delay early. So the teleport is made note of, and Salt commits to the swing and goes down. That's your smoke just gone. The Molotov comes out, but the rotates, they're not going to be here in time.
You
Yeah, they
should
probably
run.
did not expect a 5-man push, but that's gonna be a
That's
problem
an
for
early
Salt.
lockdown, though.
It's pretty early, but it's gonna actually buy them time to get into the side, because if you look at it from the other side, 0 contest from the side of Hyperspeed. Interdimensional drift is in. They're trying to make the play. They're definitely got the time to try to make something happen. Why they'll only get for 1. 0 shuts down a great opportunity. 0 to find a double, and 2 close around with a third.
And a great play with that Yoru ult to try to get back in quickly. Just not enough. Salt going down, not having those smokes to block the line of sight over towards main, and just coming in for for Overdose, excuse me, getting those 2 kills, and getting their team 3rd rounds in the back pocket. So once again, it's a low buy, but Vi forcing up this Phantom, try to get something early with this peek. Notes that turret, but Fangs posted behind hut. This is a lot of noise being made. Oh, what a little whiffy. Oh, 145.
Here.
Uh,
That's a feels bad moment.
Yeah, definitely it is, but still, you know, it's a good moment there for the other side. You know what they say? For some people, it is their benefit, for others, it is their detriment, but for now, they're still trying to find something. The Hunter Fury goes completely awry, and the spike is already planted. They're trying to buy the time. Now they've doubled up the numbers of rifles that they have in this round. Probably will be trying to make something happen. You know, there's 1 player in main. The drone relay information of a few more. It's a good second from Vi, and they're trying to find the kills here on that exchange, but they're gonna lose both Vi and Pudding. And that's one of the rifles gone. The second one is down. Salt to find a kill, and they got 2 players there by the angle. The sheath is not gonna be enough. Unsafe to find a kill, and they're still trying to strike that one down, but it's not gonna be enough. Salt to find a kill, and they got just enough time to find their 2nd round on the board.
Not while I'm here.
And those are the retakes we want to see. Volt flashing through with the Yoru, having the smokes and the utility to delay the flood back into the site, the attempt to spam. And so, with Fangus going down there, it was a quick pivot. I honestly like the idea, but the retake, just too much to deal with. And that rifle that Vi invested pays off in the end, so the gap closing ever so slightly now, but Eternal Focus Jade deciding, once again, let's just go back to what was working. Let's play aggressive here. Get this ultimate online for Pure. Get the knives. And see what we can do.
Well done, just a knife. Here it comes. The ultimate in from the KO. Vi is able to shut that one down. The spike out in the open. I like the patience from the rest of the team, knowing that there are not going to be that many more ticks for the KO ultimate. Great read from Pudding, but even a better read on the Tracer there from Zero. Still only 1 for 1. KO is back up in business, but Nam won't be able to find the kill, and the execute falls flat. At least they're going to be able to find Vi, but there is still a chance for them to still be shut down onto that one. The crossfire from side and stairs pretty much denies anything from Lil Overdose, and now they're considering going back towards that A site, and the timing couldn't have been any better because now mid is open, but there is still a lot of time for them to try to cross through, especially with that smoke that's going to buy a lot of time for Unsane.
And look at how early these rotators are going over towards A. Salt pushing all the way in to main. So the attack side doesn't feel comfortable.
30 seconds
They'll
left.
be going through, but this sheer will spot them out, and it doesn't even go over together, so we'll have to make the teleport. Smoke goes down. And now 20 seconds left. Steel Garden still online for Unsane if needed.
Well, they gotta do it now. Final
10
10.
seconds left.
They need to go for the exact. The Omen did not stick the TP, so it's gonna be a problem for Salt. Katie trying to stick down the spike plant. It's gonna be a kill for Nam. They should be able to find a second, and there it is. That's a triple kill for the Sova. And a shutdown for the execute. They expended a lot. You know, that was multiple ultimates out there in that round, but didn't really find a lot of value.
Honestly, a bit disconnected there on that initial hit. Spike not really going out, not playing off of each other to really fully clear sight. But once again, NxH, in these moments of chaos, just able to collect the kills, collect themselves, and looking like a completely different team from the first map of Haven. As the score is now tied up, and rifles back in the hands of both teams. As NxH, once again, the same setup that we've been continuing to see in early Thorns to deny that control. Similar to how a lot of teams honestly were playing that Tejo with those salvos and then the smoke. But an acceleration over towards mid, but this sheer once again needs dealt with.
Oh, I like this from Vi though. They understand that they've been conditioned that Vi usually plays towards market. They were going for the market pinch, so Vi basically had a safer teleport out. Not an aggressive one in. Instead, Unsane going to be taking first contact. That's a good first kill. And they're still holding onto the B side itself. They're trying to make it through with a cross, but Unsane still aggressive, trying to play off the back of the U. So they got the Steel Garden ready, and they will be able to use it to dissuade them even further, but not really the whole team. Has actually been targeted by that one, but those are down.
Spike down mid.
As he said, Salt's positioning pays out. Hill from Salt, another one to be found in Nam and Unsane to find that final few. And it was a complete lock-off. Sure, they got mid, they got market, but from there, Eternal Fire Jade just couldn't go anywhere.
They feel like they just didn't have any space to work with. Like you said, they had B main, they had market, but other than that, they had nothing to work with. So the defaulting really just falling apart there, not properly holding space. And so this round we'll see a little bit more of a traditional hold. The Omen over towards A, Killjoy towards B, Smoke towards mid, but this doesn't really do much. Just a little bit of a miss on that recon, but this is very similar scenes to the pistol rounds. Just 3 players walking up. There goes that paranoia to flash them off the line.
Well, not a lot of value for either of those 2 flashes.
Yeah,
A knife?
it's Salt here.
Oh, the timing. Oh, will be cleared out. Katie, that is a beautiful shot. Definitely open up the paces for the rest of the team. They're trying to utilize the weak weaponry, but numbers won't be nothing to them. We'll be able to find a triple. Vi to see it off the consistent, solid duelist, and the big man
Pick
multi-kill
something
from the
nice to kill
Sova.
them with. It's the least we can do.
And okay, the timeout finally being called for EFJ. And honestly, there's a few things I think they need to talk about. They just need to be decisive, though. These hits are coming through. The call is made to go and fight for one part of the map. 2 rounds ago, it was Market, and then they got stalled out. They didn't really feel comfortable going in, and then they just didn't have a direction after that. They sense in the paranoia, but it was either too early or there weren't players willing to go and send it, follow up, dash onto any blinded players. So it's just a lot of indecision, not really on that same page, not wanting to be the one to make the play, maybe afraid to make the mistake potentially. I'm not sure, but Will Cutie trying to call a timeout here, readjust the game plan as NxH, after a shaky start, have really bounced back here on this defense side.
Yeah, and honestly, I really like the way that they're approaching that defense. You know, they're pretty aggressive in some parts of the map, rather defensive on the other. And I always say that a good defense is a team that is able to play the push and pull correctly. And that's basically what they've been doing. You know, Salt, for example, sometimes aggressing towards mid, sometimes aggressing towards A. Now, if you look at the setup, it's actually completely default. Insane. Playing on the A side. Got the full set of view tools there. It's a big buy round. Salt aggresses through mid, and they are able to find their spoil.
An aggressive play outside of the timeout to throw off any potential adjustment from Eternal Fire Jade. And look at this, 5 players towards the A, ready to flood back in.
They only find the one. You're gonna find a multi-kill. Good shutdown from Salt. He's looking for more. That's gonna be a 3rd for the Omen. And a 6th for NxH.
A dismantling of the attack side. I mean, the coach of NxH just calling a beautiful set play to do that shark play towards tiles, catch off Fangs there, and ever since that pistol round, they've kind of been quiet. They still are the top frag for their team, but not really finding the kills in the moments that matter. So, Eternal Fire Jade
Revealing area.
back onto that low buy after was supposed to be their bounce back. And it's the same smoke towards mid.
Enemy. I am the hunter.
Oh, they might be able to find the kill here. First tag.
Poor Fangs.
Not the second, but that should have been the 3rd. Great shimmy there by Fangs to stay alive at the very end. And they're still trying to take it. I like the YouTube back and forth, but definitely still the same bottom line that they're denied of the space, and the retake of the space is actually a lot better from the side of Knight. Oh, that's a beautiful shot from Fangs. Okay, now they're shut down, but these are already a kill. And if there was a second onto Insane, perhaps there was a world where they're gonna get the round. But now with the final 2 sheriffs and them being unable to take any space, it should be a pretty done deal.
Overdose left in a 1v3, but Sheriff in hands, players already here. Oh, okay. Found the one off Nam,
30
taking
seconds
out
left.
that Sova dart. The Pudding walking up here. Should close it down nice and cleanly. So a 7th on the board. And NxH are running away with this half here on Ascent. Their map pick, and we're seeing why. The comfortability is showing through. And as well, I feel like the Yobru for Vi definitely feels more comfortable. The flashes playing off of their own utility, it feels like they actually are in a setup where they know what's going on. And this is what I was talking about, right? There's a lot of changes with the Tejo going out, the new map pool as well. And so these teams are kind of in this phase of limbo, trying to figure it out, and Salt's trying to figure out if they can get that kill, but backing off for now. But dipping their toes right back in.
They might have had the right timing there. They peaked, but elected to be a little bit more passive. Doesn't really hurt in situations like these, and especially in that kind of spot. When I'm thinking about it, I think that NxH can definitely twist the knife if they win that round, because there are a lot of ultimates present for this side of Eternal Focus Shade, and they will definitely be using them in this round, because as you can tell, it's like what, a 6-round streak for NxH X hype speed. So it's probably the time to try to win a round, and if they're able to win this one, it definitely will be a done deal on this half. It might just be a 9-3 from there.
Yeah, and they had success over towards A with these ultimates, so the KO is popped early. They'll still have that lockdown for the post plant once it goes down.
30 seconds left.
Okay, the auto spray is not good enough, but there's still plenty of util there on the defensive side. Salt got the paranoia, trying to play for the timing, threw it out before the knife actually denies it any further. There comes the lockdown, no counter on the defensive side, and that's going to buy a lot of valuable space. That's why we're seeing them trying to go for a duel just before it pops, but it won't be the case here for them. The shot's a little bit too far there from Nam, perhaps a little bit closer, and they would have found a kill or two, but now the round is over. They get the important round across, and that is the most important thing for Eternal Focus Shade, because they needed this one. They used most of their ultimates, but they still got it through the finish line at the end.
A lot of damage done, though. This is going to be... Is it all 4 players? All 5 players dying bolts.
Last round before the switch.
So the economy...
That's expensive.
It is expensive as hell. They'll be able to get rifles here, but... not full armor, potentially not full util. We'll have to see. But the round was gained, so you know, what does it matter?
I mean, the 200 IQ play though would have been actually to get an outlaw in this round.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, the only player that will actually not die to a single bullet of the outlaw will be Pure in this round. But still, you know, sticking to their guns. And this time, it's actually NxH X hyperspeed are closer to their ultimates.
Don't do it.
Oh, they did it. Oh, not again. You messing with my heart, Salt.
Enemy mark.
A little too greedy for their own liking there, and this might be a little greedy of Nam. It's taken down, traded out, but the defensive side now left into a 3v4. No ultimates. That was supposed to be the big win condition potentially.
Out of charges.
The map is looking empty as all can be for this defense side.
Yeah, mid is completely barren there, Zero. But there's a world where perhaps Pudding can find an early kill, be untraded, let them play the post plant, and then you play a 3-on-3. And that's the world where there is actually a win condition for NxH. But for now, doesn't seem to be the case. First smoke in, second smoke in, that's going to prompt the rotation, and it will actually prompt the peek from Pudding, and that might be a risky one. Because if it doesn't work out, not only do you lose a player, but you also lose your flashes. There's 2 flashes out from Pudding, and that's exactly the kill that they needed. The time has come down for Vi, but it's a beautiful first blade from Pure. Still got 2 smokes. Pretty close to the angle. Vi now, no longer suppressed. They're gonna try to use the fake out. They go in for the first one. Blades are forced. Pure down inside. Vi still waiting for the timing. And that flash will not pop in the right place to get Pure that triple. Unseen in the 1-on-2. They got the Steel Garden, but the Arsenal is delivered right to their faces. And still overdose. We'll make sure it's only a 7-5 at the second match.
Switching sides.
Good bounce back there at the end, getting those last 2 rounds, making sure it wasn't that 9-3. So only 2 rounds separating these squads. A pistol round and an anti-eco converted will tie this up. But we'll have to see as, I mean, if NxH can get this pistol round, this might just be a done deal. But we know how strong Eternal Focus Jade was on that last, and look at this aggressive set play over towards A, making a flash dash play potentially.
I like that both teams have plays that they want. And it's not just a flash dash, it's a flash dash with a deep arrow in lobby. But it does not spot putting on the money. The timing pure. Just one more shot would have been enough. They will still do it. But that play, oh man.
And this will call an acceleration into the B site. It's just Fangs here on their lonesome. There's 3 players here.
There.
Oh, they have not spotted Fangs yet. Shock dart, just on the money, down to half health, but they need to win that duel. They need to clear him out of the backside. They almost lined up, but a peek from Vi and Unsane. Beautiful. Vi with a double. Overdose,
planted.
good on the trade, leaving it in a 2-on-3. Utility is fully kitted from the KO. That might be the winning deal, unless the insurance policy is coming in. Look at Salt there on the stairs. Don't have the discipline, but they need that kill because Overdose is only on 7 health. You can have all the utility you need, but if you don't have the numbers to use it, then it will never work out for you. A beautiful first shot, sure, but they're trying to expend whatever they have to win the round. There's a player to the market, and Salt will rub it right in their wounds.
Defensive pistol round gains, and the lead is extended. You would have loved to pick that up if you're Eternal Folk or Fire Jade, excuse me. So this attack side, getting these potentially ultimates online early was Vi picking up a lot of those kills. So already halfway towards that dimensional drift, and it's Fangs and Pure with 2 sheriffs. A shark play to come in, but no one will receive it quite yet.
Trying to make the play happen. The peek there from short. Of course, not the sheriff. Pure down. Overdose down. All the bodies will continue to fade. It's a double good from a good double from Fangs. So a double good, yeah. Well, it's a good double, but it's still a good round from the other side. You know, not a lot of casualties. Good damage though, and that's the main thing. You know, you're gonna have to reinvest into armors. You're going to have to reinvest into the other players. And that's why we're seeing the timeout coming in from them on the attacking side. I actually like it a lot. Because if you're on the side of Nightshade, you really want to win this bonus. You really want to convert and just try to finish off this round before it even starts. Or the game, rather.
Yeah, but I mean, you have a decent amount of room to play with. So calling it here early to, like you said, potentially just try to give them some ideas, maybe they were calling something that the coach didn't like. They wanted to make sure they're exposing something. As EFJ have gone aggressive these last 2 rounds. And so potentially predicting something, another fast play will come out, or there'll be a play to try to set up one of these players on a deep line potentially. But Pure can't even buy a rifle into this. So, I mean, it'll be a sheriff. And that's something we look at, is those duelists getting online, or an operator online typically. But we haven't really even seen that. So we didn't see Vi pick it up. We didn't see the Outlaw being picked up. But with that timeout as well, Eternal Fire Jade will have time themselves to actually collect themselves, try to get together a good game plan. They need this round. If they lose this bonus here, Volt, we might be headed to map 3.
Okay, I was scared that Pure is actually gonna go with no armor. You know, light armor. Oh wait, no armor for Pure.
No armor. This is what they did though on Haven as well, right? It was,
and it worked.
Yeah. I mean, the sheriff came through. I don't know if it's a very statistically sound thing, but we'll have to see. I'm never gonna doubt. Never doubting again. They always get their one.
Yeah, I know. She got her one, but the rest of the team still got to make it worth it. Katie, it would be a great time to come alive in this game when the team needs a round the most. Shut down the bonus. The 3 Bulldogs do remain. And Vi setting up a play. The clone is out, but Katie's not going to be able to find the kill. Instead, Vi trying to close the door, realize the door is already broken. They go for the perfect timing on a swing. 0 with a multi-kill. And that leaves Unsane in a 1-on-2. Spike is not in their possession, but the timing and the ideas are starting to foster. They're going for the full rotate from heaven, but this is actually just the perfect read for that. Both of them down in hell. No way for Unsane to figure that out other than throwing an arc rose inside. Even the Thorns will not actually move them out of their position.
They should know that both players are set. The dart was thrown, the noise was made from Fangs, but Can the silent drop be made?
Oh, they do make noise. It's already over. They're trying to fight it through with bullets though. That's one. Unsafe looking for the multi-kill. Zero saving the round for Eternal Focus Jade. That's a necessary one, but an expensive one. 4 players dead against the bonus.
And so, with that, the first defense round comes online, and Pure still not investing here. So, just not wanting to go for that NA buy where you force down after you win that round number 3. Well, just be 2 players. Okay, we'll drop them the rifle. Actually, what a nice teammate of Zero. So another shark play to come out. Flash dash. There's no one here. It's just a dimensional drift to clear out this A site. Knock knock. No one's home. Bomb's gonna go down here. This looks like we might be seeing double digits for NxH, but not if this 4-player flank.
Oh, this working out though can spell disaster. It might be the first piece of the domino. They're just gonna be worried about the cheese though. Because if the Vice wall is able to stop them, that would have been disastrous. Thankfully, they are aware. So the presence of mind is important. But Vi holding down 3 leaves just a single avenue left for the 3 players to walk in. They got 2 rifles, 1 for Pure, 1 for Zero. Those are the 2 players that have been stepping up on that defensive side. They're trying to work. They're trying to make the worst of those 2 Vandals in this round, but I feel like the time is already too far gone. You might as well just go for the save. They are still trying to commit, still trying to make something happen. At least they'll be able to find a kill onto Vi, but this is pretty much round over. I would have preferred for them to run, but Zero's gonna still make it expensive at the end. And you are right, Zero. It will be double digits.
Once again, these aggressive plays, Eternal Fire, Jade, just not quite working out the way they like. As NxH, I'm wondering if something they were talking about in that timeout is, okay, if they're going for these aggressive plays, we can just pivot to the other side of the map. They're typically sending 3 players at least to commit into these plays. So let's just go to the weak side of the map. Let them play for retake. We're confident in our post plants. We're confident in our ability to take these aim duels to trade out utility. And that has been working wonders so far. So we'll switch the setup, the Killjoy going over towards A, but that will be noted with the turret going up late and the operator from Pure ringing out onto Pudding.
Exactly the thought you would have wanted if you're on the side of EFJ. You're up, working out pretty well. The slight anchor on the other end also does great. But Overdose now is being pressured. They're trying to work their way out of the generator position back into 3.
For
Just
both of
leave
these
the
teams,
position
they
over.
Keep it clean as possible, but Zero, I mean, these players are just
Jones
getting
just
taken down
caught them.
1 by 1.
The Jones does spot Overdose. The Overdose goes for the kill. The KO on 1. The KO could have found a double, but now it's Nam's chance. But the adjustment is just a tad too late. And it's going to be a clean round over for the side of Eternal Focus. They keep 4 and they got a lot of ultimates ready.
You have to think.
They have a lot of ultimates, 1 away from that lockdown, and the operator in the hands of Pure. So many tools in their arsenal. What I was noting was both of these teams needed to win that round for their economies to be safe. Whoever lost it would just be in tatters. So it's just, oh, the timeout getting called.
Oh.
Awkward, but
I've
a
never
little late
seen
on
that
that
before.
one. So
I've never seen that before.
it's a few. We might have to round resets, to be honest. I think that there's a glitch with the barriers. Maybe not anymore, but there used to be back in the wee old days where I was a player. But with this timeout being called from the attack side, they just maybe seeing if there's any different approaches they can have. Because once this operator gets online, it is a lot to deal with, Volt, especially when Pure is just being so aggressive with how they're peeking and getting set up.
Yeah, and I feel like one of the things that I want to highlight is that the op didn't actually stay on Pure. Instead, they've given the op to Katie, which is going to be an important takeaway. Because in spots like these, I feel like the Liquid play. I mean, I'm talking Liquid, but the very old Liquid, the one with Yampy and everything.
Shout out Navera.
No. Nivera too washed, man. Nivera too washed. I'm sticking to my gun. Sorry, Scream. Your cousin is not it.
That's his brother right there, not his cousin. I think it was actually a DC. So
Yeah,
might
it
have
is.
some technical issues. I'm not sure what will be happening with the
Scanning
round,
ahead.
but for now it's playing out as is. On the attack side, ever so weary. I mean, just playing very, very slow and being ready to go into just a microwave setup of Cat here.
Well, at least the nano swarms won't do damage, but softened up slightly by the first bit of the play. Fangs holding the angles. Gonna be a lot though to retake into that one without your KO.
Spike
Fangs
planted.
spotted by the smoke. They're trying to find the kills, and if Zero is able to find an opener, it would be great. They got the Hunter's Fury. They're trying to look for the read. And it's gonna be that crossfire there. Feels like it's nearly impossible to break without a flash. They're gonna attempt it anyway. Pure to start off well. But time is of the essence. Overdose not back into this round yet, but now Pure trying to strike back from the catwalk to break the deadlock to find an opportunity, but it's gonna be still held down by Salt. They're looking for the other kill. Vi is gonna find a pair, and the Sheriffs will work it through. It will be 11. No way back into that one. Overdose is already DC'd, and that is a hard break to have technical issues in a round like these.
Thrifty.
Yeah, and don't do it, Salt.
Oh, come on.
That's, I don't even know, like, we
Was
just gotta
that
be calling.
necessary?
No, I feel like if they call it before, they gotta call that timeout, because before damage is done, you can call that round re-roll, but just not noting it out early enough. So really unfortunate from NxH to loot or to pick that one up. Eternal Fire, yeah, I don't know, Vol. I mean, that was your big rounds. You just won. There was no eco on the other side for NxH. Now you lose your operator. You have to go and fully rebuy. And on the other side, look, Vi, 4,000 credits. Salt, 4,200 credits.
Yeah.
This is a super close game here.
Yeah, and that is going to be the case. And, well, that's exactly why it even feels a little bit harsher to lose rounds like these. Because it was against Sheriffs. And there was a world where I would have just said, actually take the duels, you know? Anchor the site, find the double kill, don't let them get the retake. Because once they got the crossfire, especially towards 3, it was really hard for them to clear it out. And I felt like them clearing 3 was actually one of the things that I just didn't like by Eternal Focus Jade. Because they could have just said, Pure, you swing left, and then Feng swing right, or the other way around, like depending on how they feel more comfortable swinging that one. And there was pretty much a world where they could have killed both players if they anticipated crossfire being set, but they cleared the
Just not
angle
ready for
lazily,
it.
and that allowed Salt the double kill.
And you're right, and I think a lot of it, I mean, it could come down to just unawareness, but also I think whenever you have a DC in the middle, it's a bit frantic to kind of
Yeah.
fill the holes in the gap of your setup. So maybe some issues there as far as not feeling or the communication not all there or a bit scattered in the minds, but a mistake regardless. So with this, both teams will have a bye here. Ultimates, I'm looking at that lockdown, looking at the Hunter's Fury, the null commands, but already Vi has the second dimensional drift here of this half. And I mean, if they can just use that to clear out a site, ping out any of these players, and just have the rest of their team follow up and frag them out. Yeah, I don't know if there's much life left in this map for Eternal Fire.
Yeah, I mean, at least a silver lining, if you were looking for the side of Eternal Fire there in this one. Eternal Focus in this one is that, you know, they got the ultimates. They got the lockdown, they got the Blaze Storm, they got the Hunter's Fury, and they also got the Null Command, and, well, each and every one of those is going to be a pretty big tool when you're considering the way that this round will actually be approached, because I feel like really more than anything, the Null Command is going to be a really big factor in breaking the retakes, because between the Vise and the KO, you just really need to suppress them to actually walk back into the slice when you're playing for the retakes.
Yeah, there's a lot of delay as well. I mean, like you said. But with that, sadly, we will also have a lot of delay. And so we will have to throw it to a short break, but don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this tech pause is resolved. So make sure to grab some popcorn, grab a drink real quick. We'll be right back.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The pause is over and we are back into business. 11-7 is the score. And there's very little time left. If you are on the side of Eternal Focus Jade for you to close out this game 2-0, after losing that round, now Overdose is back. And as we said, the silver lining is the ultimate, but it would be a very different story if they are actually able to find First Blood.
Yeah, so some ultimates still in the back pockets. Potentially invest, but the Dimensional Drift will come out clear. Most of this space out. K-Walt layer on top. The site is gains, but on the other side, there's so many tools to retake this back with. It just depends on how quick it is.
Yeah, just a 1-for-1 trade. That's good. That is really good for Eternal Fire Shade, but they will need to press for more kills. Unsane finds the one. They're trying to press through. The player in lane finds the kill, and that is another one to be found by Fangs, leaving it down to a 3-on-2. Arcros down. No more trips on the silence, so they'll need to find the kills. They're trying to go for it completely here. That won't be enough in that one. Unsane to find a kill. Another by Fangs, leaving it in a 1-on-2. Fangs is revealed, and they're going to be dead to Rise by the spray. 9 health, and no way back into this round.
Just running away with their tail tucked between their legs. Trying to save onto this rifle as not a single player on their team will be able to afford it outside of Pure, so maybe he can
Match point.
drop one over to a fellow teammate, pop those knives. The timeout called at the last hour for Eternal Focus Jade. 5 chances to push this into overtime. 4 ultimates as well. and tried to come through, right?
Hmm.
The no command, excuse me, was popped, but just too many fights going the way of
Yeah.
NxH before even Fangs could get there to properly place a lockdown. So just shut out of the round so quickly.
That's indeed the case, and that's really the problem with losing the second pistol. I feel like if they've won the second pistol, then it would have been an entirely different game for Eternal Focus, but since they really weren't able to convert that one, the game a lot harsher on them into the second half. And now they're trying to find from the back foot, as we've said, it's match point, but it's not like it's impossible. It's only 5 rounds for them to convert. They got the ultimates, and it is really for me about them just facilitating the play for Pure to actually make everything work out.
Yeah, we'll have to see what comes through because, like you said, it can be hard, especially when it is this defense side where you look to be favored a lot of the time.
Charlie Mike, let's move.
But after that timeout, getting some advice from the coaching staff, they'll go back to this setup where the Killjoy is over towards A to play this retake setup, but for NxH, they don't mind at all. They have this Steel Garden to clear this side out. They're comfortable in their post plant. We've seen them have success on it in the past, and they'll take into Tree, making sure to take this space up.
Well, they're going to try to counter the lockdown. It came in. They're trying to break it. It's going to be about that spray. 1 for overdose, 2 for pitting. And they have not broken the deadlock yet. They'll need to take it down, which will buy enough time for Zero and Katie to find 2 kills of their own. That spike down, 1v2 for Salt. But she has found the timing for the kill to seal it off. The coup de grace there against Pure. It's a little bit labored from the either end. 35 HP, and the blades are going to be enough from the Jet to keep them in the game for 1 more round.
That got so close there. At the end, came down to who had the faster right click. But Pure gets it across the finish line there and gets their team another round on the board. So once again, still shattered by a Bulldog and a Guardian for Zero and Katie Kana. For the other side, same scenes, so evenly matched as far as the arsenals go, the ultimates go. Just depends who can be the one to take that next step. Can NxH take it 1 more round and push them to Icebox?
Well, time to close it out here. From the Shadows does not really collect a lot of information. But instead of all the aggression and noise towards the A side, the gate crash comes in towards B. Simply just Pure on site. But there are 2 players at market in Zero and Katie, which might bring the difference around even if they are not able to find the kills. The arrow doesn't come to the right position, though they know that there's one at logs now. But can they even clear it out? It's all on Pure that will be able to find the first kill, but we'll need to find a multi-kill. Still got this flash. They're trying to look for the angle. The flash is good, and Vi is going to be able to open the site down to a 4-on-4. No more ultimates, so they'll have to shoot their way out, but they started off well. That Salt down. They know that there has to be a player in back site, and they got 2 flashes, a Molotov, 4 players to make it happen. The start is great from Nam, and that could be the end of the round because now the numbers are even and time is in the favor of the attacking side. NxH trying to close it out. 1 more from Unsane. The flash is not good. They're gonna swing off of it and die. It's gonna be all down to Fang. That will be able to find a double, but they will need to make it the quad really quickly. Time against them is low HP on Unsane, but they'll swing just in the right time to drive us over to the ice wall.
Satisfied. Well done.
And NxH replying in the exact same fashion as map number 1, 13-8 on their map pick, taking it home and pushing us to map number 3 of Icebox and Volt. I mean, this has been a back and forth series. I know we were saying it might be the duel of those controller and Sentinel players, but these duelists today, man, have been just stepping up. I mean, Pure 7 first bloods But most importantly, I got to point out Vi swapping over from that Jet to the Yoru here on Ascent and just looking like a completely different player. So comfortable, 22 and 17 and 294 ACS. But notably, the flashes were great. The teleports for the rotations on the defense side, the dimensional drifts were all phenomenal to not only set themselves up for success, but the rest of their team. And I don't know if that extra information is what they were lacking on Haven, where that communication was breaking down. Whatever it was they talked about or changed in their approach really shone through. And that's why we see this result. So 13-8, a great response.
Yeah, I know. The answer was pretty good. And they're able to hold on well. I still feel like a lot really in this game came down to like players like Unsane, Salt, Nam, that's coming up big in the round. But of course, you could look at somebody like Vi or even somebody like Pure and say, oh, they're cracked and they will need to be cracked to seal off the icebox. And that brings us over to today's sponsor, guys, Cracked Media. Thank you so much for them to making this a possibility for the GC circuit and sponsoring the Tenax series, because with their support, we are actually able to present this to you. And again, I will urge you to go follow their socials, go look for their podcast to actually support them and in turn support more of the Tenax series. And guys, as we said, they gotta be cracked. Best aim out there because it's time to pug it out right after this break. So don't go anywhere. Well, we've had two bangers off the map. Here 0. You know, both of them, as I said, same score: 13-8 on the Haven, 13-8 on the Ascent, and we are pushed to the icebox. Each team taking their own map pick, which is what I like to see. I don't want to see people trading map picks because that kind of triggers me a little bit. But you know, it played pretty well. I feel like each team played to their own strength and their own map pick, which does leave the icebox to be the enigma. You know, icebox. I feel like you really like to see it in all levels of play because it just allows you to flex your individual muscles as much as you can.
I mean, that
You're
is
a
true.
color caster. You're not into this. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I hate Icebox. I mean, it's just there's nothing. There's nothing. It's just 4-1, 4-1. Let's go A. Okay. Maybe Nico rounds. Let's
Well, guys,
let's try B maybe. Oh, B didn't work.
Color
Let's go
caster
back to A.
syndrome. Yes, color caster syndrome right there. It's like
It's
I need
terrible. It's terrible.
strategy, and I need like the intricate little rotation where there's like a lurker sitting somewhere on pipes for like 26 seconds, and it needs to be 26 because if it's 25, they actually don't
It's too
rotate,
readable.
and if
It's
it's
too readable.
27, it's too late. Nobody wants that when they're picking icebox. All I think about is gun goes boom.
Yeah, and
That's
honestly,
it.
I think that is leaning into exactly how these teams are kind of playing today. Both these duelists have been popping off, both Pure and Vi, doing great work for their teams. And coming into Icebox, I think we're going to have to look at them even more than we have been in the past, as well as Fangs, the sentinel for the side of Eternal Focus Jade. We'll have to see how these players kind of step up as well. I'll be interested to see if we kind of see that move over back towards the Jet for Vi. And something else is the operator. We saw Vi pick it up a little bit right on Haven, but drop it after not really finding a lot of success with it. Honestly, got kind of completely shut out. And then over on Ascent, we saw like 1-2 rounds, but no real outlaw abusing, no operators. But here on Icebox, it's debatably its best map. Why you run that Jet so often for those quick repositions, but we'll have to see how this kind of stacks up. As I mean, this is as even as it could get so far in this series. 1-1, 13-8 on both maps. Now headed into the decider for the first week of the Tenax Series 4. And I mean, you want to get yourselves off on the right foot here with a victory.
Yeah, I mean, the one real question though remains: do you go double duelist or do you go double initiator? Or sorry, double controller, not double initiator. Like, which one would you go? I feel I just like the double duelist. It's fun, but the double controller is probably the logical choice, right?
I'd go no duelist, single controller. To be honest, if I'm the coach there,
What, like
you're
3
getting that
sentinels?
G2
Like, what are
call.
you thinking? Like, yeah.
Nah, you're getting Viper, you're getting Sova, you're getting Gecko, you're getting Killjoy, and you're getting Sage, and that's it.
I really like seeing the Sage, but I just don't think
That
she's good
Fnatic
enough.
comp, I think that we're running it.
Yeah,
Was it
here's the thing.
has the highest win rate outside of Viper, non-mirror.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
here's what I'm gonna say. Not a fan. I don't like Sage. I'm here in this camp, guys. If you hate me for it, you can hate me for it. I think if you just want to play a Sentinel that takes flights, just play Deadlock. You know, she plays the role better. She got,
Well, those
at
are
least
a little
in my
different.
bets, she got better util for Icebox.
Well, what you're looking to do with, specifically, I think with Gecko, with Harbor, and with Sage is that plant insulation, right? You're trying to go
Yeah.
towards site. You're having some way to protect the plant as it goes down, so you can just get spike down, retreat back, and then take those duels on the different elevations. So we'll have to see honestly, if any of those agents are picked, because I think Tejo coming into the meta kind of forced Gecko out. So we haven't really maybe seen that adjustment come in necessarily. And Harbor, I think, would be a bit more likely to see, right? A Harbor or an Oben type deal. And we'll actually be seeing, okay, so Yoru for Vi sticking on that, and the Omen coming out as well on the other side. Pretty standard stuff. Gecko, Sova, Killjoy. Nothing really crazy from either side here, to be honest. But I do like the Omen, I will say. Even though I think other agents give you different stuff or maybe more stuff, the Omen allows you really to be aggressive on that defense side, especially with those teleports. You can do some really cheeky stuff with it.
Yeah, and I feel like one of my main strengths whenever I think about it is I just think about sideline isolation. when you're actually playing that Omen Viper combo, especially on attack. You know, there are a lot of angles where you can just isolate and just basically be razor focused on a singular duel, a singular angle. Like a dark cover, backside, for example, that even adds up more coverage to the space that you get in the B side, can mean a death sentence to the player in yellow because they're completely shut out. They got no support from mid, they got no support from Snowman, and even the player from backside can't just swing through the wall because now there's a second smoke there as well.
Yeah, and something like this, aggressive play to start it off, a wall to supplement and allow this aggression, and Pure not noted of, and I don't think Unsane was noted either.
Yeah, now TP coming in from Vi, trying to recoup, getting the numbers back, and trying to find a kill of their own, but the dink comes in early from Katie. And that might shut Vi down. No Sage, so no heals, but they are still scaling up that A side. It's Vi, Unsane, and then a little bit later, we do see Nam on the angle with the lurk coming in from Pudding. But they're not working their way into screens. Instead, it's actually going for Kitchen. And that duel will be massive for the round. They go for the jumping right clicks. Fangs got to be careful. They're finding as much time as they can. But with Pudding finding that kill, that prompts the rotation over to B.
Yeah, but the Spike's going to be the last player there. Pudding just sending it through the window. And so Vi will be inserted.
Oh.
And this might be the play of the match so far.
30 seconds
Oh
left.
no, what a read. Katie. That's why you get coach there. That's coach, by the way, Coach Diff. You know exactly where the play is going to come from. 20 seconds left. The spike needs to be put down though. It's going to be a real problem for the attacking side as they try to work their way in, but unfortunately for North, for Nightshade, she's not going to find a whole lot of space here. 1 HP in the DK. Zero is going to find a third one. That's a great pistol opener for Eternal Focus.
I have survived more than they have ever seen.
The rotations just came through so quickly for Eternal Focus Jade. So just ready for that. Pudding, not able to hear those rotates come through necessarily. So the call was made and it was just a little too slow there. But great aggression as well early on from Pure, continuing that trend from Ascent where we see on these rounds, they least expect it to go aggressive, make those plays, and already seeing the switch up from that wall. So it was just a one and done to try to do something different. This is very reminiscent of how G2 like to play this early defense.
Well, it was working great for Katie at 3. That's 4. And we might see the 8. Sure, it's an anti-eco, but that is one for the highlight reel. And they will be able to get it. Just the one final player. It's nothing but a classic. Katie to be the 9 of the A's, but Unsane will actually be able to find the double. Wait a second. That is a judge in the hands of the Killjoy. 74 health, sure. But there's a Spectre there as well. There's a universe where Unsane is able to swap from a 4K to an ace clutch.
There's two outlaws staring them down.
Take a lot of effort. As he said, the outlaws looking at the angle, shutting that one down. Still some good damage there from Unsane, but no harm, no foul at the end of the road.
Yeah, and honestly, it is really good damage. You get a Spectre and a Judge out of the enemy's hands. But Katie with that 4K already 3 away from their ultimate, 0-3 away from that Hunter's Fury as well. So building up pretty quickly to those defensive ults to try to snowball this defense side for themselves. But now with rifles in the hands of NxH, it'll be a standard approach. Dart not broken, so we'll have to be pushed back off that line. Look at this from Fangs. Aggressive and unseen.
They're spotted though.
Okay, disciplines. Backs off, plays their life, bides their time.
I thought that there would have been a universe where Unsane would just peek that one. Even if not actually for the tunnel speak itself, they just hold a different angle. And speaking of angles being held, perfect play by Nam. Holds that one. Katie goes a little bit over aggressive now. Sure, 2 closer, 1 orb closer to the ultimate. It's 8 out of 9, but that might be the round over. The Outlaws are nowhere near contesting there for that side. It's just all gonna be about Fangs there up in that side. It's a great first shot, but the second one will be denied. And it's down to a 3-on-4. Unsane, late on alert, and the Guardian will be dinked from the start, so it's gonna be even easier for Unsane to just find the timing, kill that player, have both Outlaws pretty much low on ammo, just a single bullet for the one, the other one is reloading, and they can just peek. We've already got the audio cue, but no more blindsides from Vi. They're waiting for the paranoia, trying to play for the triplet, and it's gonna be Vi for one. Pure, find a single kill, but nowhere to go, nowhere to hide, and it's gonna be the bonus converted over. Well played by NxH.
Yeah, NxH closing it out pretty cleanly there, I gotta admit. So one away from that Viper's Pit for Katie. And already, I mean, we were seeing what that Omen brings, right? You have those extra layers of smoke. So once that Viper wall goes down, you can continue to take space over towards Orange, over towards Snowman, whatever you like. And something we haven't really seen is the potential to go over towards top yellow and try to take advantage of that teleport as well. But once again, another walk down from Fangs. Being so aggressive, but this time, there's two players in this smoke.
Oh, a little peek comes in. Fangs finds the kill. It was a world where Unsane would have actually found them both there because they were a little bit staggered at the peak. But that did not come to pass. And now there's an early lead with Eternal Focus, and as you can tell, they're not even aggressing off the back of that one. They're like, we got our kill lead and we don't need to make any mistakes. We just let them play the round. And in a 5-on-4, it's like a 65-35.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Look at the positioning of Pure right now, just posted all the way back back Snowman with that operator, as it looks like NxH gear up for a potential B split. Salt will be heard, will be noted with that drop, but the spikes coming back over here, the teleports, and this is just so reminiscent of the last round of Haven, where it's just all over the place. The spikes not with the rest of the team. It's individual.
Well, it works out though. Now I'm able to find that kill. It's another one from Vi. Now left to find an ace clutch. They're able to find it. Two. They still need two more, so it's actually a 4K, not a complete ace. Vi spotted the barrel. Probably knows where the player are, at least trying to get the spike planted to facilitate themselves some time. Pure put themselves in a position where they're not going to be able to trade a 3 from Vi, and they got the interdimensional drift. They're just waiting to see if they can bait the spike. Pure going in for the half stick. They're going in for the full defuse, but they'll be spotted, and Vi will be able to clutch it out.
What a play! What a play. And just when you thought they maybe fumbled it, they didn't have the rotations all right there. I mean, just Vi doing such a great job to clutch it out. Has been a star player through and through, swapping over to this Yoru and committing to it on what might be Jet's best map in the map pool currently on Icebox, but sticking with it, and the comfortability is just shining through. So 2-2 here, as it's a low buy for Eternal Focus Jade, and another play aggressive towards mid.
Well, this line is a flash. Unsane able to find the kill still. That's the firepower advantage showing up in that round. Another flash from Vi. Couldn't find that much. Instead, it's going to be Salt caught off guard. Katie find another kill. Suddenly, you look at the pistols, and they were doing well up until that moment where they decided to veer too far into middle. And they've lost the numbers advantage down to a 2-on-3, but Katie got a rifle, and they just need to be careful. But the timing is perfect from Nam. That jiggled peek there with the final step to evade the line of fire was all they needed. Double from Nam, and that's 3 and the lead for NxH.
Dealing with that mid-aggression very clean. 3 rounds in a row now. It's been coming out. So they expect it and they deal with it. They put away that anti-eco. So no operator coming out quite yet. But the knives will be popped for Pure to try to get something going here. And it's a different setup. So the Killjoy actually over towards this A site with mollies to delay.
Revealing area.
but it's NxH wanting to test their hand at B.
Well, they know where the players are. The flash is great, but still Pure able to find a kill. That was the one weaker weapon, but Overdose is going to be sprayed down through the smoke, not even able to bring out the Dizzy. Go for the flash or make a play there. That's an excellent read from the members of NxH X Hyperspeed, and now they're trying to work their way into that B site. They should be able to go for the plant anyways. There is a world where you throw the hunters really early, but I like the discipline of actually not throwing at the very start.
Spike planted.
Well,
One
gonna kill.
enemy remaining.
They do find one more. That's a trade from Nam to leave it in a 1-on-4, and as you can tell, you look at Fangs.
What do you even
Pretty
do
much
here?
should be,
I mean,
yeah,
just probably save.
nowhere
Yeah,
to go.
just keep this rifle into the next. Make sure you have something going, I guess. But I want to make note. I don't know if you saw Katie Conda's the smoke come out early from Pudding over towards green, excuse me. But what it does is it shuts off the sight line from yellow as well as that close angle. So if you're trying to jiggle between just jiggle spot close, or if you're tucked in the cubby, it protects you from all of those angles. You can drone into that smoke, make sure to clear it out that way, and have a safe setup to scale properly. And it just works wonders to prevent the trade coming through onto Pure. So another round's going the way of NxH, extending their lead little by little. And the ultimates are going to start to cycle. They're going to start to snowball. Lockdown online now, 2 away from that Viper's Pit. An Eternal Focus
There's
Jade.
already one
They need
ready,
to find
but the
something
problem
soon.
is that even if
Yeah.
Katie does actually have the pit of their own, as you can tell,
an eco,
why is
right?
a whole lot weaker. Pure.
But how do they expect
Right
this?
across. I mean, they're trying to clear
They
it
didn't
out.
expect it. They're not checking
They
it
definitely know. They didn't. World were Pure. It's sprayed down anyways. But it's not this one, at least not yet. Pudding to find the opener. They spot the shoulder. That's one. They know that there's a next. They're trying to find the shots, but they couldn't line it up well enough. There is a world where you can just dash in. But instead, they try to go over aggressive. Pure to back up. Nam to find another kill. And that will leave it 4-on-3. Despite finding some kills, it's not enough. The swing for Spectre is labored, it's messy, and it's not gonna be able to find the spoil that they need because it buys enough time for the rotate. The ultimate end on the B side, and the kill on Katie from Nam is the important crux of that round. Because
How
there's
is
a
this
world
swapped?
that Nam could have actually stopped it.
This is just flipped on its head, and now it's Pure. Left in a 1v3, a lockdown, still in the back pocket of Unsane. And this looked like it was just going to be a cleanup. But now, looking to go down 3 rounds, Pure just trying to get some damage done. But time's ticking away. And with it, the chances to get this round. And it's just going to be a save. There's nothing they can do. They know it. So a 5th round goes to Eternal Focus J here in Volt. I'm starting to think there might need to be a timeout called, an adjustment in the game plan here, because it looks so close to working, but it's just falling apart at the last moment.
Yeah, I'll definitely be with you that this is the time for a timeout. And well, there it is. Will QT will actually decide to pull the trigger, and I feel like this is the perfect time for it. Not just because he got the buy round, not just because you're one adaptation away, but also because if you look at the ultimate economy, you're beating them to the punch in a lot of those. You got the Viper's Pit, you got the lockdown, and you're only 1 away from the Thrash, which I feel like those are the big 3 if you actually want to play an aggressive round, a proactive one on defense.
Yeah, and we're seeing success off of their aggression. On their attack side, or excuse me, on the pistol round where they picked it up, they got it by going aggressive, right? In the last round, they got their advantage by going aggressive unexpectedly, right? So it wasn't the same mid push that they had been going for 3 rounds in a row. It's new creative stuff. It's not repetitive because NxH, they're adjusting very quickly. And so outside of this, it'll be a full rifle round for each side. You noted it. The Viper's Pit is online, really close to that Thrash ult as well. So 2 big ults to look at for the retake. One to lock down just an entire area of the site. But on the other side, NxH, I mean, they got money for days. And their ultimates are online soon as well. So they have to be feeling very comfortable in their position so far. But a slow start, a different approach. So the dark cover goes out to help cross underneath. That's a 3-player walk-up tube.
Oh, why here's the drop though. And Boy sees the head. That could have been the kill to win out the round. They're gonna get it anyway. It's gonna be about a little overdose because they've heard a player dropping down. A trade comes in from Katie. It's a 2-player setup. They spot the Killjoy, but are they looking for the Gecko? So far, they have not pulled the trigger. That's the fake. Don't shoot it. Trigger discipline is good for the one. The swing actually comes at the right time. The Yoru flash blinds Nam, and they're able to find the lead. And it seems like the timeout have worked out pretty well. They got the spike down towards Kitchen. So it's gonna be up to Unsane and Salt to work their way back from a disadvantageous position. But Unsane is getting the right timing. Pure has abandoned the cross, and it's very low health on overdose. Salt also allows one to pass. Oh, this is getting risky. They find a duel, they find the kill. There's a world where Fang just gets the wrong timing there on the cross to back site. And the timing is not in the favor of the Killjoy. The recovery is there, but Salt quicker to the shot. And now it's down to a 2-on-1. Disadvantage on Pure, but the spike is left alone. It's a very late rotate from Salt. The turret is there to buy the information, and Pure expects the second player to be back there. It's just about a matter of timing. They spot the retake, but they're trying to go for the denial. 7 seconds left. They're able to find the kill. There's a world that is thick to defuse, but they can't find a shot yet. They go for the drop down, and Unsane will bring them 6 feet under.
It has to feel so rough for Eternal Focus. It's the same thing. They have an advantage. It looks like they just have the read. Okay, they're gonna go for some sort of set play outside of the timeout. And NxH love to do this whenever timeouts are called. And it's just a fumble. They had the advantage, they had the positioning, they had everything, and just can't convert it. Just getting a little too aggressive, a little too individual in some of these moments, trying to be the one to put the nail in the coffin. And so now, back on, a Shattered by a Dimensional Drift will spot out and clear out this site. But those ultimates we were talking about earlier, it might be coming into use now.
Welcome to my world.
Oh boy, goes for the peak. Overdose still finds that one. The pit is there, but the Viper was actually pretty exposed there for a second. I was worried. That one going to prompt enough time for the play. The catch putting off guard, lockdown on either side. And it will buy time for the defense. It will also buy more time for the attack, especially with the pit being present. Gotta be careful about that one. Oh, overdose! What? They probably thought that that's their own.
That's the Thrash.
One player detained on either end. There's a player still on top of 410, and they have no clue where the Viper is. Salt is able to find the kill, to throw down a snake bite, but it does not find the connection. This round is an absolute shambles, and the defense somehow is gonna come out on top.
That lockdown really was the determining factor there. Able to commit it down for Fangs and just had to push all of the NxH players so far back. Flooded back in off of that space gained, and finally a response after 6 rounds in a row. Shutting it down, but it's going to be a long road back. Just try to come back in this half, but still that Thrash is online. No other ultimates for either team online very soon, so might be the only one we see for quite a while here. That's the same scenes, the similar start. Dart cover over towards mid, darts, the drone to spot out some of these players, but other than that, it's very passive from this attack side.
Yeah, and you know, the conditioning definitely did work out there. You can tell, like, Unsane staying towards mid the whole time. That's a good dink onto Y that pushes the Yoru away. Back towards the B side they go. And there is Katie holding the angle. One dark cover is in, but the rest of the team is still working their way back towards A, and they've actually called their bluff on the defensive side. Instead of going towards B, we see a much more aggressive crosshold there from Pure. Just about the timing on the lurk from Unsane, because if they walk up now, they get the time to hit everyone when they're not looking, but instead they're waiting for the full commitment from the rest of the team. Arrow is in, a double from the Jet. They're created back from Salt, and they know that there has to be a lurk somewhere, but they still can't find it. Unsane,
30
instead of
seconds
lurking,
left.
they go to play with the rest of the team. Not a lot of time left in this round. The dark cover will definitely fade shortly. Salt still on top of 410. Posed problems there before. Allowing Pudding to find the timing. It's all down to Katie, that only had 15 seconds to play for. But that time was not enough. Just in the final 10, Unsane is able to find a kill, and the lead is extended. There was a round, but apparently it's just a bump in the road for the side of Nightshade.
Bro, I think Wingman's an inside man. Did you see that?
I mean,
Bro, he just ran
yeah.
right past Pudding. He has a 180
so
degree of
small.
vision, and he's just like,
so small.
I'll ignore you. And then Pudding gets 2 kills. It might have been the round right there. And so instantly, as Eternal Focus Jade get around, they're instantly shut back down. So they can't build up that economy, get themselves a padding in their back pocket. And interestingly enough, it's NxH who calls this timeout. So try to make sure they get these last 2 rounds converted, get that 9-3 half if possible. Because so far, I mean, it has been a dominant start to Icebox here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't call it one-sided because there's definitely a little good play from the side of Eternal Focus, but it's just about the conversion. Like, I would say Eternal Focus is good when they start the retake, but when the trades come around, that's where I feel like they fall short a little bit. And that's where they'll need to improve. You know, they've already switched up the play, they've kept a lot of focus on Unsane, but the thing about the conditioning, though, is that when you break the conditioning, you need to reestablish it again. And for me to see them just putting all of that focus onto middle and then completely abandoning it a few rounds later breaks the spirit of why you condition teams on rounds like these. And right now, it's going to be a commit from the B side on the Katie, and that's a messy spray. Unfortunately for them, too many members on the crosshair on the other end. So it's an opener and a site for players that don't have a lot of econ, so there might even be a world where they just save there and give this one up.
And off the timeout, I think this might have been the adjustment to go aggressive through the wall into Snowban, and Vi is just taking heads. Finally shut down the Thrash, though out of this round for this retake. A 3v4, this is a hard one to convert.
Down.
Still trying to go for the spray. Could not find the kill there on the other end. Pure re-swings for the hit. They're trying to deny the plan. They're trying to deny the E-Fuse on the other end. Pure able to find a double. Slaver a spray on the other end. But Unsane is down to 10. And they'll be down to 0. To leave it all onto Salt, who got the snake bite on the angle. But the time is already in their favor. A 3 from the Viper. And an 8th round for Nightshade.
Last round in the
Doing
half.
such a great job there, getting the opener, getting the closer, doing it all for their team, and just in phenomenal fashion. A great timeout to just ensure they get that lead, extend it even further. And so now coming into the last half, or the last round of the half, excuse me, look at the buy, man. You have a Bucky with knives, but other than that, you only have 1 full rifle, no full armor across the board. The Thrash is still online from 4 rounds ago, and it's an aggressive play, 0!
Nightshade already on 2, that's a 3rd, like a pigeon in the sky. Unsane goes hunting, and Salt on top of 410. But there is a perfect play being cooked now on the adjustment. Oh, that was the round there. They should have found the kill there, but that's a Bulldog. That doesn't have the 1 kill potential. And that's going to be 9-3 for the half. Perhaps an underwhelming score considering they won the pistol. If it wasn't for the pistol and the anti-eco, that might have been an 11-1 game.
Yeah, it really might have. And I don't want to bring it back to that DC on a Sin. But ever since then, it feels like this team has just not really been on the same page as far as I think the swings go, the fundamentals go, but 9-3 half? You believe in curses, Volt?
I surely don't. No. No.
It's like,
No.
not at all. Nope. This is gonna be a clean 4 rounds, 13-3.
I mean, if it gets to 11-3, that's when I'm worried.
Cutting through.
Like, if I want the curse not to come around, I just hope Eternal Focus is actually able to win around here. And they started off pretty well, you know? They got the right read. That's the weaker site. And they're being pretty methodical by the way they approach it. It's just the fact that there's a 3-man push on mid. That is some nightmare fuel for the side of Eternal Focus Jade. Fangs will be asked up a lot there. One player not looking at the corner, but he don't expect the double peek. And Nam will have the marksmanship to find the opener. They're going to play the retake with a numbers advantage, and they're even deny little overdose off the spike.
Poison's
On the
off.
Sova. You gotta be careful. Trying to extend back on the other end. That's dual more from Salt. While the Viper dies, it buys enough time for putting him by. And they will put it down double digits for NxH.
Such a clean pistol round. Both of these teams have had such cool ideas to come out on the pistol. That Viper wall, not something you traditionally see over towards B, but what it does is it made Eternal Focus Jade so weary of a potential aggressive play, something maybe weird being cooked up, so they had to play slow, they had to go drone out, and what that did was buy time for those mid plays to activate, and just deleted Fangs. And from there, it just all collapsed. So round number 14, it'll be a force into this from Eternal Focus Jade. 3 Stingers, 2 Sheriffs. On the other side, Unsane with that Outlaw.
Oh, trying to find the angle. They have not found a shot yet. Vi on the angle. The force up though might allow them to find success in the close quarters, but instead, Marshals are actually very accurate from the hip.
Spike planted.
They're able to find the one at range, supposed to be where they actually shine. And they cleared them of most of the site. The snakebite comes in to deny even more space. Just a single player at yellow in pure. Everybody else on the left side. The arrow comes in. Reveal another player being there in the angle, but Pure is able to find the first. They're stalling for a lot of time, and Pudding will need to find a multi-kill there. That's 2 from the Omen. Shut down now on the trade, and they're trying to clear it off. It's only down to Pure, but they will not be able to stall for long enough. So it is 11-3, and now I'm worried for the curse.
Now we're ready. Yeah. I've seen this one before. A few years ago.
Too.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. But honestly, I mean, there was 3 snipers in that retake. Probably the worst type of weapon to have, but still, it gets the job done there. And a lot of it is just due to the lack of good positioning from Eternal Focus Jade. They felt like they had to play close. They had to group up because they had those weaker weapons, the Stingers in hand. But it just wasn't enough. 3 players towards back yellow was the death of them at the end. So they'll force in once again here. Outlaw still online, and Pudding gets 1 shot off, but okay,
Well,
Pure.
it's the bonus though, so you know, like, you wouldn't really expect a whole lot out of it, but there's still an outlaw in this round. They can definitely cause a lot of harm at the other end. Salt trying to push for shots. A lot of chip damage is done, and the snakebite is going to be a problem. Pudding to find one, and there's another player in the position. Salt is finding more, and suddenly this is breaking down the curve that we were talking about. Another one for Salt there on top of 410. Trying to find another shot, but they're able to drop down safely. And no trace on the other end means that when they walk out, it will be to their inevitable doom and to the quick match point. And this is nothing like we've expected of both of those 2 maps. I expected a back and forth game. This is just a single-sided affair.
It really is, and I mean, Pure is trying their best here, 18-12, but other than that, not really seeing a big performance from any of these players on Eternal Focus Jade. And now, map and series point here, Volt, for Nightshade X, Hyperspeed as they look to close this one out in dominant fashion and get themselves the first victory of the Tenax Series 4. Themselves off to a strong start here and already start looking towards those playoffs.
Yeah, well, we're in week 1, so there's quite a while until the playoffs run actually come around. But it's always great to start on a win. It's just going to be whether or not that win is just going to come in this round, or it's going to be a little bit more complacent from their end. All they need is to finish this one round. A lot of light armors,
Toxins
so
going
the
up.
Guardians benefit, and especially the Bulldog benefits a whole lot. You know, that's one less shot that they need to hit.
Yeah,
They're able
Viper's
to find
Pit
the
as
first shot
well.
to the head, or even the spray down. Yeah, everything benefits from those light armors, but they're just trying to cuddle up for the last hurrah. And honestly, I understand the estimation behind it. Oh, wait, that single dart, by the way, baited the entire team. Everyone looked towards A, but it's actually a B play.
Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out. Spike planted.
Well, try to make a
Spike
play.
goes down. Whoa. Just spam.
Yeah, plays off pretty well. Insane with another one. There comes the pit, and they're unable to deny the Viper. They try to go there, but it's over ambitious on their side. Katie find the first kill, but a spray down is going to be good enough. They spot her on yellow, and the
One
final
enemy
two players are in. The defuse is already stuck while the Viper is alive. So unfortunately for Katie, she might be a coach, but they got their numbers. 13-3 in the most dominant map of the entire series.
And, you know, who am I to say there's a curse? 9-3 doesn't exist. It's gone.
Curses are no
It's-
more, yeah.
It's no more. 13-3 is the end result here on Icebox. Nightshade X Hyperspeed taking the victory 2-1 in the series. And like you said, it was so back and forth for those first two maps. 13-8, 13-8, but it was just utter domination. And honestly, I really do think the Omen came into effect there, right? Especially over towards that attack side, towards B. I really think it allowed them to have two impactful rounds where it not only got them the round victory, but then it snowballed the eco, and it was really crucial moments where it was coming and finding value.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're looking at the losing side, I know Eternal Focus JD definitely had an MVP performance out of Pure. You know, there's no denying that. You know, Katie played pretty well, but then you look at the drop-off from Pure and Katie to everybody else on the team.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Eternal Focus JD, it feels like that they've ran out of steam for the final stretch of this map. You look at the other side, you know, one of the things that I actually want to highlight a lot is that Salt were the bottom fragger at the start of this game. Like, when Salt was on attack, the game was looking really rough for them. But when they swapped over to the defense, they completely taken over the game. They're top fragging now, you know, 2 first kills on the Viper. That's just how confident they weren't actually taking those initial duels, which is something very important. And then you look at the rest of the team, everybody's on double digits. You know, no double digit ACS, which is also like a slight problem for Overdose. Even Fangs is pretty close to there. And that is pretty much the one thing that I'll have to say is that Eternal Focus, they got a little bit too stubborn on a couple of those plays. But then my question would be, if you're stubborn on conditioning the enemy team to the mid play, you know, you've broken the conditioning, you've given them 2-3 rounds where you haven't peaked mid, why not go again? It's going to be my one question to you as a caller. Is it like, oh, it's not working, so we just don't try it anymore? Or is it more of you know, like sometimes when a strategy runs its course, you just say, okay, we're just going to abandon that one. Like, which one is it?
I think I would have liked to see them approach it maybe because they were doing it pretty early on, right? And so it was those first 3 initial rounds. And I do like that approach. And I like whenever teams do something like that, they do something aggressive, out of the ordinary, and they do it for the first like 5-ish rounds. And then if it stops working or whatever, you can abandon it for a little bit. And then round 11, round 12, then you can come back to it. And like you said, bring it back and throw a wrench in it. Because if you're conditioning that respect and they're sitting there, okay, and then you condition that it's not going to be happening. And so then it's just another just sucker punch to try to throw something at it. I'm not really sure, maybe just not wanting to go for that. But I got to say as well, Salt, I know you said it as well. On the attack side, not really finding a lot of value. It can be hard as an attack side Viper, but with the Omen being able to anchor and play more like a Viper on that defense side, that's where Salt really came alive and got, I think, 2-3 Ks to be that floater, really just trying to always be near that site. You have the Molly for delay with that rotate. So great job by them coming out as the MVP on this map specifically. But I mean, Vi has to be my MVP for the day overall. Not the best performance here, but I mean, great on Haven, fantastic on Ascent, and here doing the job was the person to send it in, flash their team in, and get them onto the site. And if that's what's needed, that's what's needed. You don't always have to be the one getting kills.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you said it yourself. It took quite a while for Salt to find some form, but you guys don't really need to take a whole lot of time to find the news. Cracked Media, as you can tell, is our sponsor for this one. Thank you for enabling the GC community. And guys, again, just go there. It is called XP Share. This is their podcast where you can find all the latest updates there. You can find all the news if you're interested in the gaming sphere. Well, Zero, that's it for us. That's it for week 1. But there are still a whole lot more of the Tenax series. And if you're interested in Tenax and general, well, guys, if you want more content from us, we have Mondays and Wednesdays where our Counter-Strike roster will be playing their games in the ESEA League. And that's for you if you're interested more in the CS side of things. But Zero, do you have any final words before we sign off?
No, great first match to start us off for the Tenax Series 4. Some exciting matches to come up in the upcoming weeks. Those will be Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, so make sure not to miss those. But that'll be all from us today. Thank you, Volt, for joining me on the cast. Thank you for the producers as well. And, of course, the viewers, the players. Couldn't do it without any of y'all.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And hopefully, whether you're into CS, we'll see you then. Or if you're still just a Valorant person, we will see you next week. Thank you all for tuning in. And I hope you have an amazing evening. Adios.
Goodbye.